What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, a podcast hosted by two gamers for you, the True Gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. Bro, how are you doing today?
I am suffering.
Oh, really?
As are you, anybody that follow us on X now.
X, the highly loved...
Onlyfans.com/X. We can't do that stuff in the first 2 minutes. This one got demonetized.
Damn it, well, there we go. That's what we're going to do.
Look, all I'm saying is we're both suffering.
Yes,
we're both suffering. We're recording a day later because we needed some time to recover. I'm still suffering, but I'm glad it wasn't yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday was bad.
Yeah.
For me as well. We've both been sick, and yesterday I was
lost my
shivers.
voice.
I was sweating and stuff like
I'm
that.
in recruitment. I'm on the phone all day long. I'm an actual recruitment wanker.
And
anyway,
people like to hear me speak. So
yeah, exactly. It's crazy, isn't it? So anyway, look, if you're enjoying the Plaguecast, please a like on YouTube. Anything, because we need it.
The Plaguecast. That's the new podcast.
My
name,
voice
guys.
is fucked.
We'll
Do you
change it.
Question before we get into the gaming. I swear it's a gaming podcast. My girl, if she starts to lose her voice, likes that husky noise, husky sound, and she'll speak specifically when she's losing her voice because she likes how husky her voice is. And don't get me wrong, I get the appeal of it, but it hurts. Do you know what I mean? Because you're losing your voice. My throat hurts, but I'm doing a podcast. If it wasn't for this, I'd be as silent for the next couple of days as I could be. My chick will go out of her way to talk because she likes the way her voice sounds. I'm like, it's uncomfortable. Does your chick do the same thing? Is this a girl thing?
She doesn't. She doesn't do it to me. You know, yeah. When my girlfriend has a sore throat, she just stays quite quiet, and it's a blessing.
Better. I was going to say,
oh boy, any other day.
I was going to say because my chick speaks extra. It is sexy, but still it must hurt.
I tell you, I do get the appeal of the sexy raspy voice when you because there's a period where it doesn't hurt, but you still got a little bit of that rasp, and you can talk at a low enough volume where you're like,
I'm almost there. It's still a bit uncomfortable. So when we were talking to Doug, our best friend.
Our best friend, Doug Cockle. Yeah.
Our new best friend.
You guys may know him as Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher 3, but he's our best friend, so we call him Doug, obviously. Is how we're going. Should we talk a little bit about that?
We can do that. Actually, we went to the Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. Is it a launch event?
Yeah, it was the grand finale launch party because they went to multiple stops around the world.
Thing.
And this was the last one before the actual launch.
Yeah, it launched a day later.
The posters, it says grand finale on it because it's the last stop. It was the launch party for the expansion that came out for Cyberpunk 2077, and it was
cool.
Way better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I mean, these parties, we've been to gaming events.
Yeah, we've been to a few of these things.
And you might get the occasional goodie bag and stuff like that. And then there'll be some decent imagery there. They're there to promote the game, really. And that's all.
A poster.
But we get there. It's in central London, so one of the most expensive places to host anything.
Yeah.
It's in a fantastic venue that has been styled up with all genuine cyberpunk posters, cyberpunk decals everywhere, lights to make it look super neon, like the Afterlife bar in the game and shit like that. It did look very
Afterlife. Also, weirdly, and this is probably a fluke, but I'm gonna just say it as if they did it on purpose. The location is very similar to Jackie's mum's bar, you know, where you turn up.
Yes.
Now that's probably there's no way they could have planned that, but it did happen to have almost the exact same layout, which I was like, hey, I feel like I've been here in the game.
I like to believe that that's what they were looking for, places like scouting. Was it Amelia, who's the community manager who does everything, who hooked us up for this? Thank you very much, by the way.
Yes.
You can tell she probably was looking through places, and she looked at it, she was like,
yeah.
we have to get this place.
Yeah,
this is the place. It has to be here. Anyway, so it was a big old party. There was free alcoholic drinks the whole night.
They were also, first of all, they obviously didn't train these bartenders. I was going to say appropriately. Our drinks, at strunk with a capital K. and no free as well. I was getting ready to pay for some £15 cocktail type things. Right. And they had names there was the Edge Runner, which they ran out of immediately, even before we got there.
Yeah.
And we were the first 20 people in, and they were run out.
Dogtown.
Yeah. So it was
all these cyberpunk themed cocktails and stuff like that, and it was all 100% free.
It was 100% free. And 100% triple what you ordered. If you ordered for example, you went to get a Coke and ended up coming back with 2 double rum and Cokes, I think it was.
I said to the guy, I was like,
Coke.
I should probably think about winding down.
Also, because we were driving.
Can I get 2 Cokes? And he's like,
you said rum and Coke.
Okay, rum and coke. I wasn't gonna say no and look like a little bitch.
Yeah.
Anyway, fantastic
These nerds
venue.
can drink.
Open bar all night. They had little snacks going around, which, by the way, the little burger bite
They were
things,
really good.
the goat, they was fantastic.
Yeah, they were really good.
And they had amazing music. Like
Fantastic music.
I'm not the kind of guy that really sits and listens to a lot of video game soundtracks. That's not my kind of jam.
I'm with you.
Especially because
to be clear, the soundtrack from Cyberpunk, I forgot how good the soundtrack was. They had the artists come in and perform the whole night, including the who are those guys at the beginning? They were sick.
The composers.
The
PT. It's a Polish name, so I'll butcher it. It's like Matsu is something like that.
Yeah.
But you'll know him from if you search for any album, whatever, you'll see.
That was genuinely some of the best DJing I've ever heard. And I mean, like, not that I've ever attended. I mean, like, some of the best DJing I've ever heard.
Right.
Like off, those like YouTube clips, any of it. It was so good. It was so good.
Right. And then on top of it being like fantastic music, fantastic drinks, fantastic food, fantastic atmosphere.
Venue,
everything like that.
Oh, Phantom Liberty was there. We got to play it.
Phantom Liberty was there. We got to play a little bit of that as well. On top of that, just filled with amazing guests. So like all of the people that came in cosplay and stuff like that.
All the people were cool, yeah.
People were really cool. Tons of people that I met all in like fancy cosplays.
Yeah.
And then all these amazing famous people. There was Doug Cockle, like we mentioned, Geralt of Rivia. Ben Starr was there from the recent Final Fantasy 16 game. He's super awesome.
Yeah, he was cool.
Freaking good looking
as well. He promised us he'd shit his pants, and he didn't.
He's basically.
So we're calling you out, Ben.
He's like Henry Cavill. He's too good looking, too much of a nerd, too awesome, too kind, and you're like, just shit your pants or something so you can make us feel better.
This is 100% true. We brought it up to him. We were like, could you like kick a puppy or something? He goes, I'll shit my pants just for you guys. And he didn't do it. So he's a liar. A character flaw, finally.
Exactly. There we go. He's a fucking liar. There we go. Jane Perry was there, who plays Rogue and Celine from Returnal.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until afterwards. Like, oh my God, you play Celine as well.
Yeah.
Alex Wilton Regan, who plays Alt Cunningham, in the game. She was there. Fantastic as well. We had a bunch of the devs like Pavel, Amelia, Marta, all those guys there. They were awesome.
That one guy who plays the new villain in Phantom Liberty.
I don't really know him though.
I can't remember. Black dude.
Older
gentleman, salt and pepper.
He's Londoner. He's a Londoner. He looked like he'd be a loafer. Yeah,
you could definitely see that. He probably would have been a good like TV actor.
Anyway, I think it's something like Idris, something weird like Idris Elba. Yeah, Idris Elba was there. Anyway, we didn't have enough time for some nobody like that. No, Idris Elba was there. He was at the Phantom Liberty party, and here's how it went down. We are idiots.
I'm so glad we're not. Cool.
We could have skated past this, by the way, but we chose not to for your entertainment. So enjoy.
This is 100% true and 100% how it went down.
We're in there. We've all got it's obviously our warm environment. It's our fucking club. I've got this huge leather jacket on that I'm wearing.
If you're following him on Instagram, he has this huge leather jacket because he's cosplaying V. And we are, by the way, it's not just warm and everybody's dancing and stuff, but we're also 10 shots in at this point, probably. Because we started with
insulated. Insulated.
It's warm. So that's the vibe. Yeah. Plus we're dancing a bit. It's pretty good. We're speaking to these incredible actors and cosplayers and Pavel and the dev team and all that stuff. Yeah.
And they bring on some cool people to play some music and whatnot. But sometimes we're like, all right, this might be a good spot to go and get some air and whatnot. And we did ask previously, like, are there anyone special coming along? And one of the Amelia, the community manager, was like, I know someone's coming. You guys don't want to leave early. And this was like maybe like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock even, something like that. So
and
we're
this thing was going until midnight.
So we're like, all right, so like 10, 11, we will still be here, no problem. So we're like, cool, we'll just go out for some air. Now, how far away would you say the main stage is from the door where we were standing?
15 meters at max.
At max. So we can hear everything that's going on.
The whole thing.
So the music's playing, and then all of a sudden we hear, woo! But we think, okay, that's the end of a set.
Well, that's how it sounded at the end of every set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, cool, no problem. We're just chilling out here. And no one else was rushing inside, to be fair. So we're just like...
And also, we were out there, some of the devs were out there, like that, yeah.
So we're cool, chilling. And then we go back inside and we just catch some commotion and some security guards stopping people. Right. And we're on the other side of the security guards. And we're like,
and we see Idris.
We see the back of Idris. We're like,
oh, cool. He's come in through a side door. And he's going around the back. And we're like, oh, we've caught him before he's arrived.
He's nailed it. Perfect timing, guys. Perfect timing. We get on the floor. Well, like dancing away.
Yeah.
Dancing. All right, cool, no problem. Chilling out. I thought I posted some pictures while I was out there, so I checked some of my tweets. I checked what was going on, and I see a tweet from one of the community managers, and it says 41 minutes ago, picture of Idris Elba on the stage that I'm now standing in front of, and I'm like,
he literally turns to me and goes, "How is she tweeting from the future?"
Because seemed impossible
it
that
could
we
not
could
have
have
happened.
missed it.
It could not have happened, and then
we missed Idris
because
Elba.
then a little bit of me was like, maybe he came in, said hello, and he went up to the VIP area before he did his thing. But then the night, what would you call her? Not the announcer, but like she was sort of like the host for the night.
Yeah, the hostess woman. She does a lot of hostesses for other like
I've seen
gaming
her
gigs.
Weirdly as well. I saw her on her Instagram earlier. I'm like, okay, cool. You are who I thought you were.
Yeah.
She comes on and she's like, "Hi guys, how's everybody enjoying the night? Yeah, great. Everybody enjoy that like 5-minute speech from Idris."
Yeah, Jules Hardy, that's her name.
Jules Hardy.
I'm like, what? How did we miss the entire
5-minute speech? Also, like again, it's not like we couldn't hear what was going on. So like you would have thought we would have gone, "Oh, someone's speaking. Like this is a proper thing," or we would have had people cheering or saying. So we totally missed him. We totally missed him.
And then afterwards, he comes in, he hangs out in like the VIP section above us, and I take a few creep shots from underneath, up his nostrils, basically. Like, I saw Idris Elba, he was right there.
And he was nice enough to wave to a crowd of nameless, faceless people. So I assume to me.
Exactly, to us, that's what he was doing. But so that was that night.
But it was genuinely a really good night.
It was, especially we got to talk to all those like cool people, voice actors. And
although
stuff like
we
that.
are semi-joking, we genuinely spoke to Doug for half an hour, 45 minutes.
That was the coolest
and a couple
part.
times through the night, he like spotted us and came over to us, And look, we have dinner plans with Doug. The way it went down was I said, if you're in London, we'll go grab some food, and he said, "Cool, I'll hit you up for that." That's dinner plans with Geralt of Rivia.
Dinner plans right there.
Also, he said he not invited us, but he was like, "I'm going to EGX. You're going to be there. You got to come."
Yeah, he's coming to EGX. He's got some announcements to do.
Yeah.
He didn't mention what it is. Are we allowed to say what he said, right?
I don't think it's. I mean, they were talking freely about it.
Yeah, it's not a secret. Basically, him with Ben Starr, Doug Cockle with Ben Starr, and a couple of other voice actors. They're going to start their own D&D live stream sort of campaign stuff, and it sounds pretty cool. They're super into it. They're like nerds that way, and Doug dropped in randomly into the Geralt of Rivia voice. So he's that talented of a voice actor that he can probably do other voices as well. It's going to be such a cool thing. That's the best part. You tell me all the time about Critical Role and them being voice actors, how cool it is. It's probably going to be something like that.
It was funny.
Cool.
I'll say it was the first time I've ever been next to a voice actor when they've done it, but obviously watching like Critical Role, you see some of the best in the world, so like Laura Bailey as an example, right? Matthew Mercer, doing these things. They'll talk as they're talking and then switch immediately into a character voice and then switch back to talk to people as they're doing stuff. But that was the first time I've ever been present when he did it, and
it was so bizarre.
It was very interesting.
Also, there was a moment where we had a bit of a miscommunication about where someone else recognized him from his voice. Yeah. Where he accidentally let a Geralt voice slip when he was in a spa. And while he was telling the entire story, I'm imagining him with like
a white dressing gown,
with
mud
like
pack.
A towel over his hair, which is bald, so he has no hair. And then like cucumbers on his eyes, and then randomly he busts into Geralt of Rivia, and someone's like, "Wait a minute, are you Doug Cockle?" And then he tells me, no, not a spa, a spa. SPAR, like the shop, the grocery. I was like, oh, I get it now.
That makes a lot more sense. But just so you know, that whole time, you had the mud on your face, the cucumbers, and that's how I'm going to retell this story.
Yes, exactly. So everyone, while Doug Cockle was in a spa, in a totally like music playing with oils and stuff like that, some random person.
That foam stuff between his toes, because he's getting his nails done. Yeah.
Anyway, it was a super cool night, and all that I said, the cool cosplayers that we met there as well. We're meeting them again in EGX. They also come in there.
I've got to figure out cosplay.
It's such a fun thing to do, especially when
there
isn't
else time for my idea.
Oh, you wanted to do? Do you want to say it? Or, I mean,
it's not like a secret.
It's not, yeah.
But
sorry about my cough, by the way. It's killing me.
They know it's Playcast.
Yeah, Playcast.
Episode 1 of Playcast. No, we're not doing that. I'm not getting sick every time we need to do a podcast. I'm just not doing it. I wanted to do a cyberpunk Geralt. Yeah. Because also, what our big fan theory had been, there will be a Syrian Geralt reference in Cyberpunk. And even if it was just like side characters, like you go down an alley, you hear that some guy got slashed up by some girl with a scarred face or something like that, and then she disappeared, and it's a dead end. You're like, only if you're paying attention, that can only be Siri, right?
What would have been cool is one of those like policed off sections, and then you just see the hologram of like Siri running through there with like a blade.
Right.
That is it.
And also, because people do move at super speeds in that, it wouldn't be ridiculous to have like a video of this chick and then she zaps away and they're like, well, that must be some weird artifact on the recording, but she hit up I forget what that's called, like a Kiroshi or whatever it is, where you zoom away. Like
just like super speeds or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, cool. That would have been so cool. So I want to do a Cyberpunk Geralt.
That would be cool.
I've got the long hair for it at this point, and I just need to figure out. But the problem is,
you got the face shape as well. That I think you could go for it as well.
And like, I'll get sick, so I sound like Geralt as well.
Yeah, you need that. Like, all you need really is a scar. Make everything white, and I think you could work it.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem is the clothes. What's he gonna wear? I was also thinking, because I have the long hair, that I might go as like a gender swapped Pan Am, because it's just jeans and a swimsuit. Do you know what I mean?
You'd have to wear that thong bodysuit that she wears.
100%,
obviously.
Which will have to go either one side of because there's no way I'm actually fitting in that. And also
put it up like the advertisement
into the
with the blue bodysuit chick with the thing, like, do that.
And then the big question: you good?
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Blackface or not?
You have
and
to.
I was gonna obviously you rename it Patam, like Patrick Am, instead of Pan Am. Patam, Pan Am, Patam, and obviously blackface. But if I'm swapping her gender to be a dude with a beard, I feel like is it disrespectful to swap her race? I don't want to be rude, and that's why I'm going in blackface to EGX.
Exactly, you're doing it out of respect.
Yeah. With the big red lips, I'm going the whole, just actual black, like tar black.
Tar black.
Do you know what I mean? And just the face, like you'll see around the corners that I'm white skin.
Oh, you'll be able to see.
I'm not even actually white.
Doesn't matter. That's how the people will want to see you.
So those are my two cosplay ideas.
So that was a really cool night.
It was a very cool event.
Thank you very much, the guys at CDPR who gave us those tickets.
Yeah, who are now regretting it if they saw this.
Exactly. Oof, they're like, Jesus, not these guys. But it was a really cool time, and it came at a perfect time.
Hey, Amelia, why did you invite this one guy? All he's spoken about for 10 minutes on this podcast is blackface.
This was a big mistake. It was really cool. Thank you very much for that, and hope we get to see some more stuff like that. Do you know what's really annoying?
Missing Idris Elba's speech.
That was probably pretty annoying. Talking about whole like Cyberpunk as a whole, and its kind of resurgence that it's come back with now. It sucks that this is going to be its only expansion, and then it's going to move on to like The Witcher again, and then by the time it comes back round to Cyberpunk, it'll be like many moons in the future.
Yeah.
It sucks because now it's in a very good spot.
It is in a very good spot. The game works. They've apparently also, they were saying they've reworked the endings.
Yeah.
So like the endings, that's one of the things I found the most disappointing about the game. It was actually, even when it wasn't working well, it was fun enough to play. I had a good time. I did find it easy to put down because of the bugs and stuff, but overall it was pretty good. It just felt lackluster at the end, at least the ending that I got. But apparently they've reworked that. You can change the endings based on what you do in Phantom Liberty a little bit. You can play Phantom Liberty if you finish the game. It seems to be in a very, very good place.
Sucks that it's going to be a while before we see it again.
And apparently, you'll be aware of this. There are Edge Runners Easter eggs in it.
Oh, I love me some Edge Runners.
I did mention that to every single relevant person.
Proper threw me under the bus every chance he could. He's like, oh, like Edge Runners. You've seen that, haven't you, Ed? And I'm like, on the edge of running on the edge is where I love to be.
Every single time. No matter who it is. If it was one of the dev team at CDPR.
Proper like we're fucking
to Pavel.
Right, to Pavel. His fucking face. Lead quest designer. The most cool guy ever. He's like, say it, how's Edge Runners? Fucking bastards. Swear to God.
And there were people obviously there in Edge Runners cosplay. I mentioned it then. I mentioned it pretty much. The only person I didn't get to mention it to was Idris.
Yes.
So,
but to be fair, we didn't even get to see Idris.
That is true.
Otherwise, you would have done it to him.
Weirdest conversation of the night, though, was speaking to Alton Rogue about their they were saying how they've had like sex scenes with Keanu Reeves, and all I could say was, well, I'm jealous.
Innit? Jealousy right here.
Jelly.
If you were trying to make me
That
jealous,
was probably the weirdest conversation we had all night. That was a cool event, man. And the big problem with Cyberpunk now is that it came out around Baldur's Gate, and it's not fair because Phantom Liberty seems to be actually genuinely good. By the way, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty on Twitch is pulling in more viewers than COD and Fortnite combined.
Yeah, it's doing fucking great, isn't it?
So it looks to be genuinely good. And where am I going to get the time? How am I going to get the time to play it? Because I don't have any time.
I have unfortunately let other things go so I can play Cyberpunk because I was just that in the vibe.
Did you start a new game or did you pick up an old one?
Start a new game.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through it now, so yeah.
You're powering through it.
I am powering through it. Well, last night as well, I couldn't sleep. So
are you
mainlining
let's go. Oh, you couldn't sleep? That sounds awful.
This sounds awful, doesn't it? Anyway, let's get into today's episode.
That was gaming.
It was, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second.
Cool.
Bro.
Yes.
Before we get going, let's thank our amazing bros who support us over at patreon.com/Conbrosations, who support us at the Super Bro tier, who make this show possible, who keep the lights and the mics on and the gaming going here. Our boys, my juicy left nut, Sabine from Smallville, and Gams Master, the leader of the Empire, the fearless one, the great Lord Vader himself. Step cousin who isn't really that involved in anything important, but he likes to feel like he's wanted. He likes to hand out coasters when people put in their drinks down and things like that, and that's really all he does. Even then, it's not even like a priceless coffee table. It's just a shitty one they bought from IKEA.
It's an IKEA one, like
12 quid. You can just buy
after a couple of years, like the laminate's peeling up at the corner, but you've tried to stick it back down. Super glue, it's not working.
You guys literally said when we bought it was like, we will replace this every time we do it. It's that cheap. So why are we even bothering to take care of it? I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for your support over there on Patreon. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Quick little update on EGX, by the way. EGX is going to be in 2 weeks' time, so it's going to be by the time you hear the next podcast. Yeah. If you guys are coming, if you want to come, we're both there. We managed to get some creator passes, courtesy of EGX. We're definitely going on Saturday.
100% we're going Saturday.
Possibly going on Sunday as well.
Yeah.
I might also be going on Friday for cosplay-related reasons.
Yeah.
These guys that I met up at the Phantom Liberty thing, they might be doing cosplay thing on Friday, so you can follow my Twitter or Instagram to find out more about when I'm going to be going exactly close to the day. But Saturday we'll definitely be there, and we'll be having all kinds of shenanigans. So if you want to come down and meet us, if you want to come and have some fun, we usually go gaming, get some drinks afterwards, get some food, and hang out and have fun and just talk shit all night and and waste the night.
There's that Nando's like really close by, so we tend to go to that. There was one other thing I was going to say. We didn't get the not booth,
the panel. Apparently, they have no record of me ever applying, and I'm like, so this email, and they're like, yeah, we don't know what that is. I'm like,
It's from you. It's from you. It's your email to me about my application for a panel.
I mean, it would have easily been like, sorry, after careful consideration, we've decided not to go with your panel. Cool, no problem, man. I'll try again next year. That's how that would have gone. Not this whole like, we've never seen that email before. Pooh, we don't even know who you are. Like, why lie? What's all this bullshit?
Just say, like, that's worse as well. In that case, you messed up. You lost the application. Unfortunately, this year, we've given the panel to someone else. She didn't make the cut. That sucks. Try again next year. Like, cool. But instead, like, oh, we've never seen your application. No, but here's the receipt.
It was no need. Anyway, so that's not happening, but we will be there. We'll still be having fun. I think on Saturday I might come as V, so that'll be a little bit interesting as well.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll see you guys there if you want to join us. All right, bro.
Yes.
We're going to kick today's episode off. It's going to be quite a meaty one. I'm going to start
off... It's already been 30 minutes.
It's been a bit. I'm going to kick it off with what will probably be the least in-depth one to talk about, which is that Jim Ryan has officially announced that he is stepping down as CEO and president and CEO of PlayStation after 30 years at PlayStation.
Yeah.
I'll read out his little statement that he posted on PlayStation, the Sony Interactive Entertainment. He goes, as you will have seen in the news today, I have announced my retirement after nearly 30 years at Sony Interactive Entertainment. I did not take this decision lightly, and I absolutely love SIE and our community, but Of late, I've been finding it increasingly difficult to strike a right balance between having my home in the UK and my job in the United States. As mentioned in a press release, I will continue my role as President CEO until March 2024, effective April 1st, 2024. Effective April 1st, 2024, Hiroki Totoki will be appointed as the interim CEO of SIE, and while he continues his current role at Sony Group Corporation. I feel humbled at having the opportunity to have led the company, delivering products that touch millions of lives, from award-winning games to incredibly immersive technical achievements delivered with PlayStation. I'm immensely proud of what we have achieved and very optimistic for the future of Sony Interactive Entertainment. From my beginning at Europe, it was clear that Sony had built something truly special. Generations later, I am still amazed by the excitement and passion of the PlayStation community. It is thanks to all of you. No. It is thanks to you that we have been able to keep innovating and delivering on greater experiences since 1994. Generations of gamers have inspired us to be better, to push boundaries, and the results have been incredible. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Quite a nice little statement right there.
Yeah.
Out there. But that's it. Jim Ryan officially ended. He did start his use
your words, career.
His role as CEO and president in 2019. So it hasn't been very long. It's only been 4 years since he's been in that position. But he's been with PlayStation for a long time.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about that? What's your thoughts?
Well, I'm not bothered. And it's not a case of like, well, yeah, why would you be bothered about a CEO at a giant mega corporation or whatever? Okay. It's not one of those. It's a case of like, Jim has made some odd decisions, or has been the face of the odd decisions, let's say, because he... For the record,
it's like presidency, isn't it? It's like some things you can't help but be the face of at the time of things, especially because like things take years to happen.
Yeah, so something that has been in the works for like 5 years happens 2 years into your running, and the company has sunk enough resources that
was you.
Yeah, right. So you're the face of this thing happening. Also, companies, big companies. Everybody's like, CEO, he's the guy in charge. First of all, that isn't how it works. Second of all, there are often a lot of CEOs. You get like brand CEO, then like group CEO, global CEO.
They have to satisfy everybody.
Yeah.
And then you're at the mercy of the board of directors as well.
And then the actual like head CEO, like say, board of directors, it's not like the CEO can like outrank the COO, CFO, CSO, all of that stuff. And then the board of directors, they're at the mercy of the shareholders. So a lot is going on that he isn't in charge of. Devil's advocate. On the other hand, he has been the face of some very questionable decisions. For example, not marketing any of your own products, even on your own platform. And then saying, well, this doesn't work. Well, actually, it was an okay service.
Yeah.
If people knew about it, they might have bought it. You know?
PlayStation Plus we're talking about, by the way.
Right. I haven't seen any advertisement. I haven't seen any adverts in PlayStation, like on my PS5, for anything in the PlayStation. Do you know what I mean?
The most I've seen is the occasional tweet from the PlayStation account. When there's like a refresh of stuff, they'll post the top 3 games that are like on the service that are new. That's it.
Ridiculous. That's a terrible decision.
Once every 3 months.
Also, I'll say, and I know this isn't his role, like as a CEO, yes, you're public facing, but the reality is you have work to do within the company. However, I would like my CEOs or the faces of the company, and maybe it shouldn't be the CEO who's speaking to like us, to have a bit more personality. This
is where I was going to go with it as well.
Take it away, bruv.
Well, let me first say how I feel about him leaving. I'm not in the same band as some people are on the internet, where some people are like, good.
Yeah, some people are celebrating.
He did it. That dickhead is gone now. PlayStation will thrive. And I'm like, PlayStation's been thriving very well.
Yeah, don't worry about PlayStation. PlayStation's good.
I was like, if you talk to anybody at PlayStation, they're like, PlayStation's in a very good spot. And if that is any result from Jim Ryan's work here, then he's done a fantastic job. Because especially over the COVID times and the chip shortage and stuff like that, we have to attribute it to him because he was in charge at that time. He took PlayStation through and even managed to make PlayStation grow during a time where it was ridiculously hard to sell PlayStations. So the man did a very good job. I didn't like his... Again, it's hard to really pin on him because it was a tough time.
But that's his... Okay, to be clear, that is his job.
True.
So his job is to take the flak and get the reward for the success. True. Right? If we're going to say he got PlayStation through COVID, which that isn't true...
But he was in charge.
He was in charge. He gets the credit. He also has to take the flak for the other stuff. True. So, sorry, Jim.
And he did say this one thing, which I really hate, was that he said, we believe in generations. He did say that before the pandemic, before the chip shortage. So then when there was a chip shortage and people couldn't buy the next generation console, they then switched up their plans to make a lot of games cross-generational, which made things really shitty.
You've painted that in a very positive light, by the way, because I would argue it was much worse than that.
It was quite bad.
I would argue it was not COVID. What? It was Xbox that led Jim around. And Jim, you're getting the blame for it. Led Jim around by the nose because all the people, all the losers who don't buy games were super happy to hear they could keep playing the new games on their old Xboxes. And they were like, well, look at all the noise they're making. That's obviously the right decision. We'll do that. And Xbox comes out with no game in the first 3 years will only be compatible with the next console. Because they're not bringing out any games.
That was a stroke of genius on Xbox's part. How they managed to fool everyone into thinking that that's the reason why they haven't released any games for the next generation console, rather than them not having any games. And that's why I was trying to hold back my punch from Jim there, because a lot of the community were like, but we want to play games on the old one. We don't want to have to buy a PlayStation. Well, it's never been like that, though. Yeah. Anytime a new console comes out, it's a switch over to the next one. Third parties may still... Anyway, we're going to get off the track.
Well, no. It's perfectly reasonable to say we're investing in the future. We're moving forward. We're still going to look after you. If you're on a PS4, you're not forgotten. But, the PS4's at the time 8 years old, 7, 8 years old. We're moving on to the next one. We're not forgetting you. You're not going to be left alone. We're going to continue services for many, many years.
And there'll be third-party games that still come out.
There'll be third-party games. I mean, they were still doing stuff for the PS2 up until 2 years ago, I think it was. Yeah. We're not going to forget you, but it is time for an improvement.
What really annoys me, though, is that at the time, people were arguing. They were like, I can't believe PlayStation are going to leave all these PS4 owners behind. And now, if a game comes out that's cross-generational, they're like, why are you making cross-generational games still? It's like, for fuck's sake, you can't have it both ways. Stop it, people.
It's because all these people, they're the same guys that rate games between 7 and 10.
Yeah.
It's a 7. Yeah. No. A 7 is a really good game.
Yeah.
A 5 is if you're bored, you could play it. It's not a waste of money, but you might not love it. A 6, that's a good game. 7, that's a really good game. 8 to 10... This is this could be the best game you've ever played for you, right? RDR2, God of War 2018, God of War 5, Cyberpunk, Ghost of Tsushima, Uncharted. Those are 8s to 10s. Halo, Mass Effect, Baldur's Gate 3. Those are 8 to 10s. Those are maybe I didn't like this thing, but I like that. 8. I didn't like this thing, but I love that. 9.
But these guys don't get that.
No, these guys those are the guys who are like, why is it cross-generational? And then now they have a PS5, why is it cross-generational? And then when they don't have a PS5, I had, it looked like I wasn't getting a PS5 for the first year.
At the beginning, yeah.
And that whole time I was like, new games should not be coming out on a PS4. Yes, I would like to play them, but not on a PS4.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be coming to me because that would be bad for the games, imagine trying to play Ratchet and Clank on a PS4. Not even a PS4 Pro, a PS4. Not going to be fun, Yeah. So, Jim gets some fair criticism, and he gets some ridiculous criticism. You were very positive, I would say, about the cross-generational thing. I'd be a lot more negative, like I just laid out.
Well, as I said, I just went because it came to the time where it was hard to get a PlayStation 5. I get the reason. Yeah. However, I do ding him for that. I do ding him because he was the one that said it, and then they eventually turned back on that. And I remember at the time being like, man, I do want my pure PS5 games, and that's what I ding him for. I don't ding him for what everyone else on the internet is dinging him for.
Which is?
They are blaming Jim Ryan solely Jim Ryan.
Yeah, just Jim.
Just Jim for the rising game prices. Xbox, Nintendo, Activision, EA, all those guys because of Jim. Jim was the one that actually went to them and said...
Nintendo re-releasing the same game at full price.
Yeah. And
God damn it, Jim.
Xbox doing the same thing. They all because Jim asked them to. Jim Ryan is the reason for game prices going up.
And obviously nothing to do with increasing cost of everything, increasing production values.
No.
You know, these games that were made for 50 to 100 million now cost 200 to $250 million.
Not that they're star-studded now than they were back in the day.
Right. Some of the best talent, you know, and not just celebrities, but you know, voice actors who are so well known and beloved in the industry of voice acting that they are in and of themselves stars. Not the best talent in the world for mocap, voice cap, development, combat mechanics, scenery.
You're trying to come up with... It was Jim, okay? It was Jim. Just accept it. Jim did all of it.
I think that's fair enough. He's just a price gouger.
Anyway, because I don't get
we
that.
We know it was Jim because the businessmen in Japan, they were there worrying about the cost for consumers.
They were.
Mr. Sony and Mr. PlayStation were there like, oh, Jim-san, cost of game too high.
Too high. And then Jim was like, no, in his British voice. He's like, no, you're going to fucking take this money. I'll put it down because he's a cockney lad.
These little British cunts, they're going to get the PlayStation and the games 2 weeks late.
He's a cockney lad, he is.
And they're going to pay 70 quid.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Tell him to pony up.
Yeah, insane.
Absolutely insane.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And it's funny because there's certain people out there that I don't respect, and they know they have that ability to like push that kind of narrative, and it's technically harmless because there's no harm that's going to come from it except it's going to just make a company look bad and whatnot. But it's just the willful spread of misinformation that just gets on my nerves.
Well, also what it is it's economic psychological warfare, and what I mean is a lot of these guys. Those are the biggest words I know, by the way. A lot of these guys are... We assume many of them are on the payroll of a competing products company. And if you change the discussion so that people who would otherwise have picked a product because of the quality of the product, and you embed like an emotional response against that thing, and in favour of a lesser product that makes, once you're viewing it from this lens, it makes you feel better, then you artificially inflate what people want to see, which in the short term, like, okay, customers go one way instead of the other, but in the long term, those customers aren't happy, and as we've seen, they don't pay for things then. So they're on your team, but they won't give you any money. From a business perspective, like, money is love, right? I'll pay for the things that I love. I'll pay for the things that do good things for me. And that weird artificial thing is not only bad in the long run for your company, but it's also bad for business modeling because you don't know what you can get paid for.
Yeah.
You can't accurately forecast what people like. If something would it be worth doing this project?
It's my overall issue with, we talk like a lot, and we're going to talk a lot about Game Pass and stuff like that. It's the willingness to go down this path, even though you know that it's damaging for the whole economics of video games.
Yeah.
But it's the idea where it's like, well, if we don't do it, then we're not going to get anything. So it's the chance that we get something or destroy everything, and we're called to destroy everything because we won't be there anyway. And it's like, right, cool, that's great, that's good news. Good to know that you. Yeah, this is like, if I can't exist, then nothing should exist.
Entertainment related, but like Project Manhattan, Oppenheimer and stuff. You know that they thought there was like a 5% chance that the nuke could ignite the atmosphere.
Yeah, it was like it's not zero. It's like,
yeah, like when
we
know
now it's impossible,
like, yeah, it doesn't work that way. But they didn't know, also like chemistry and stuff. It's the first time you're doing this sort of thing. They didn't know there was a possibility that it could just make the oxygen in the air burn. And if the oxygen in the atmosphere is burning, it's touching all the other oxygen.
It's just a chain reaction all the way around.
The whole planet, all the oxygen gone. Like, they thought they could burn the planet. Do we want to continue? Yes, let's see what happens. Right? So, does it shock me that the other unnamed competitor to Jim Ryan's company, which definitely isn't Nintendo, by the way, because they don't compete, they run their entire family gaming market. So another competitor, obviously it's I've got such a bad cold.
Oh yeah,
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Don't do it.
I'm trying to
sully his name.
I'm trying to swallow the drink, and my nose is so blocked that I'm airlocking and can't I'm swallowing. Sorry, boys. Plague cast. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Yeah. More plague.
Yeah, that's not how that goes. He doesn't.
Well,
do you know what? No, we did say he has to catch the flack for everything. I will. The bit I'm defending it on is I don't think that's flack. I don't think that is his problem. The cost of products has continued to rise everywhere else. Your DVDs cost more, the price of going to the cinema costs more, everything. And gaming stayed at 40, 50 quid for like 20 years or something. Yeah. It didn't move on, despite the fact that these games have got continuously so much better. So I don't think that's a problem for gaming in general, so I'm not going to give it to Jim.
I've had a uniform idea on the cost of anything, the value of something over every single thing ever at all time periods, and it's just a matter of what you're going to get from it. PlayStation provide the best games out there, right?
Yeah.
There's other third parties that do amazing games as well, better than even in some cases than PlayStation.
Yeah.
But PlayStation provide high quality games in a consistent fashion. So I would be willing to give them some money so I can get those unique experiences that I can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
I would question another person if they can't produce all the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some people don't seem to question that. They're just like, cool, I'll give the money. I guess we'll see what happens. And I've been proven many times that it doesn't happen. So
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
One thing that Jim Ryan did say that made me think, okay, I kind of feel like why he's given up on this, because it must be fucking hard, especially at his age.
Yeah, especially at his age, and he gets paid so little.
Well, that's something I was like, but still, you're still a human being, right? You're not a robot, so you can't really take this. He goes, previously he said in an interview, he goes, I was spending 2 weeks in California because their main office now is in America. A week in Tokyo, because it's still a Japanese company at the end of the day, and then a week in London every month with his family. And then it was really difficult, and he'd have to do that every month over and over again, back in a cycle, and the jet lag would get really bad for him.
That I feel.
And I'm like, fuck. I don't know how long I could take of that as well. Like
that I feel.
You could pay me millions. I'd probably be able to stomach it for a couple of years, but maybe even less than that.
I'm going to say, first of all, the big factor here is the age of the kids. So, like, if they're in school, they're not coming with you, right? But you and I traveling to, like, LA and then Japan is not the same as Jim Ryan. Like, do we think he's going on, economy class on, like, BA?
He'll probably go economy plus.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe they book ahead and he gets one of the emergency exit seats for the legroom.
We'll pay the extra legroom. Go on.
Right. So...
No, he is probably in first class, getting everything
or private jet. It's not like, he's a CEO. It's not like they don't have private jets.
And if it's this often, you might have your own private jet, right? I mean, he's not a billionaire at the end of the day.
But he is the CEO of a $1 billion company, multi-billion-dollar companies.
And I've heard when you have a jet, the more you fly it, the cheaper it gets.
Yeah, it makes more sense to do it sort of thing.
So maybe.
Yeah. But, you could take the family with you. That's an option, potentially.
But anyway, that's one of his reasons.
But I will say that is a pretty serious commute. Yeah. I complain about my commute from London into central London. So
let's talk about who we would want to be the next CEO. What kind of person we would like, because this interim CEO, by the way, Hiroshi Toki, apparently he's only going to be there for the interim. Who knows if they transition to making him full-time? Could happen. Yeah. But apparently his big initiative is he likes mobile games and thinks that's superior to normal gaming. We need to get him out as soon as possible.
Yeah. Hiroshi, you're dead to me.
Find a
Hiroshi, you're this close to Hiroshima. Bruv, you are 2 letters away.
This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. We've said it many times, I think.
Yeah.
I think we need someone with a little bit more personality.
Yeah.
Now, personality,
Ryan Reynolds.
I mean, he's doing
Final
great with
answer. It was a joke as it started coming out, and as I was processing the words, I'm like, actually, that's pretty freaking hilarious. Ryan Reynolds.
We need someone with a bit more personality because, and I don't mean like someone who's just personality. We want someone who, I mean, Jim Ryan was all suit.
Or The Rock. That one's a joke. Tell me, let me
Here we go.
Let me paint a picture.
Go ahead.
Ryan Reynolds in the kimono opens a sliding paper door. Oh, hi there, in sexy Ryan Reynolds, walking along like he does for his Mint Mobile ads and stuff.
Yeah.
Over at Sony, we believe that gaming is of the utmost ohayo gozaimasu to like some pretty lady working on a rock garden or something, you know, a couple of samurai fighting, going past the camera. It's like, oh, watch out, guys, you know. And
I'm sold. I'm already sold. I want it. Jim, get out of here.
What are you doing? Get Ryan on the phone.
Get Ryan Reynolds.
Also, we'd only be losing half of Jim. It's still another Ryan.
It's true. We've still kept the Ryan part, which is obviously the
Here's
core
how
part.
you do the announcement. They're on the glass door. It says Jim Ryan. They're scraping off the Jim. And then they just put Ryan.
They just kept Ryan. They put Reynolds. Reynolds.
Yeah.
It's a skewed as well.
It's skewed.
CEO's still underneath it.
The D and the S end up on the wood of the frame, you know? The door frame, not the door itself.
It's like usually they put like the name and then they put the CEO part right underneath it.
And then Ryan comes by. Ryan comes by and he goes, "Thanks, Jose," but it's very clearly a Japanese guy in Tokyo. Man. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's exactly.
Sold.
Personality, and the man has genuinely very good business sense, so it's not like he doesn't have business acumen.
Yeah.
Now, should he actually be CEO? Don't know. Should he be the face of Sony? 100% yes.
We've
or Christopher Judge. Why am I picking? Nah, frick it. Adam Sandler.
This is a bad idea. This is very bad. What I was gonna say was, we do want a bit more personality back in PlayStation. I think that's something that we lost from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5.
Definitely.
I don't think it should go wildly into like just personalities because that could be equally as bad. There's a reason why
Donald Trump.
That's a wild card right there. That's a wild card right there.
All I'm saying is, finally, the PlayStation Twitter will be worth paying attention to. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? That'd be. I'd turn notifications.
Why did you get rid of PlayStation Plus? If you weren't so poor, you would.
Just crazy.
Sorry. Who would you pick?
I can't speak anymore. You're gonna interrupt me again. You speak this time.
No, it's cool. That's all of my list. That's my top 5 picks.
Okay. Was it Ryan Reynolds, The Rock?
The Rock was a joke. We're not having The Rock.
The other ones weren't a joke, by the way. Just so you know. The Rock was a joke, guys. Come on, don't be silly. It's not The Rock.
It's Ryan Reynolds, Adam Sandler, or Trump.
Come on now.
Don't be putting words in my mouth.
Starting again from my beginning. I would like a bit more personality in PlayStation. Not so much personality that they don't understand businesses, because at the end of the day, this is still a business that you have to run. And if the business side of it doesn't work, then we're not going to get games in the long run. Something that some people on the internet don't understand.
Yeah. They have to make money to make products.
Yeah. I don't know if they necessarily do have to be a gamer, although in the past where we've had like Sean Layden, Shuhei Yoshida is still there, but he's not in that same sort of role. They're gamers and they've been fantastic personalities.
And they're real gamers, by the way. People don't seem to understand. They think like Shuhei Yoshida does that, like, I play video games, and then has never touched a controller in his life. Like, follow him on Twitter. He posted some savage Fall Guys wins. Like, he's genuine about it, yeah.
Proper gamers like that, and they are good, but you can't always get that kind of person anyway.
And also, a gamer won't necessarily make the best decisions for the business. If you understand that the product is high-quality games, you don't necessarily have to enjoy the product. Like, as an example, you don't need your doctor to have had the sickness you've had for them to treat you. You don't go to, like, a doctor and go, well, did you have cancer? Otherwise, you can't treat me for my cancer. Right. Like, ridiculous. Right. So as long as they understand, like, what PlayStation is and what the prospect is, I don't mind if they're not a gamer. It would be cool to have that shared interest.
Yeah.
But yeah,
just don't go to the full Jim. Don't go to the full Jim Ryan way, where like he's a full suit. It's like, hey, Jim, what game are you looking forward to next?
Oh, I don't play video games.
It's just insert the next big game coming out for PlayStation every time.
I'm looking forward to play God of War.
GT7 on PlayStation VR 2. I get motion sickness, by the way. But that's something that I think PlayStation is sorely missing. The one thing that I hope comes from Jim stepping down, don't know if this was Jim's idea, I have to think it is.
Yeah.
But I hope we have a few more showcases, a few more live events, because that's something that I desperately miss from the old PlayStation days.
Yeah.
Going to a place, seeing the crowd reaction, having that shared community moment where I feel like we're all watching this together, going through, rather than us all just watching a slideshow with a voiceless woman speaking in the background, showing us...
You mean a person, headless... faceless. She can't be a voiceless if she's speaking.
Did I say voiceless?
You did. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so weird. Yeah, faceless person. That's what I meant to say. And also with it being,
and awarding Cyberpunk the best PlayStation game of the year.
That was GameSpot. No, fuck those guys. And also with those events, we just don't know what we're going to be getting, and they can be big and they can be small. When these big events come around, when there's a big showcase, it's going to be something big and worth our time because they've invested so much money in being there, and that's kind of what we want to bring back to PlayStation because it was so good. I'll tell you something interesting. Going forward, finding out all the stuff that Jim Ryan has approved already that can't be stopped at this point, that is still coming out. So like some of the live service stuff, for example.
Yeah.
Like that Fair Games with a $sign thing, whatever the fuck that is. There's a bunch of things that he's probably greenlit and is already on the way to come out that we just don't know about. And that it's going to be interesting to see.
Again, this is not me jumping to the defense of Jim Ryan, but you know, it's not like you make the decisions in a vacuum as a CEO, right?
Yeah.
And they had come out and said, we're going to be doing these things over the next 10 years. That's like a company objective, not like a CEO plan. Do you know what I mean? Because the CEO could come in and go, right, guys, I want everybody to focus on this type of thing for the business, but they can't make like wide-sweeping business objectives and get multiple companies and sub-brands to do all these projects just on their own. Do you know what I mean? Also, look, I think it's a terrible idea, but I understand that they've gone for it and need to try to see what are the other avenues of making money with the aggression from Xbox.
Yeah. They have to assume that the Call of Duty money they've been getting, which is a lot of money, is going to disappear. Right. They have to operate under that assumption.
And if you're PlayStation and you've managed to optimize so many other forms of gaming entertainment and just nail the recipe and do it well, and you have good relationships with Epic, for example, now
chances are you're going to be able to strike gold somewhere else as well.
Right. And one of the things PlayStation could do better than Xbox has done, and this is very simple, is find the recipe for success and then copy it. Xbox found the recipe for success and then said, well, good games won't make people sell their PlayStation. You know what I mean? Ridiculous. But you go to like, what are the most popular mobile games out there? It's going to be like Genshin Impact. I think that's mobile. I don't know. Candy Crush, shit like that. And go, right, let's make some of these and see if we can do it. Okay, what lessons did we learn? Did it make money? Yes, it did. Okay, well, let's see if we can make a better version of it and do 2 or 3 iterations and then decide, right, it isn't actually worth our time to do mobile games because the FPS tests we've been doing are actually doing better. Yes, it takes longer to get the money, but we get a bigger influx. It's more profitable. Take all these guys, move them to the FPS, or vice versa. Actually, we can't compete with COD. We're not going to bother. Maybe we do a Fortnite 2 thing with Epic and get in on that.
Yeah.
As an example, that would obviously entail having Epic on board and stuff, but you get what I'm saying, right? Look, if you just try some new things and then optimize them, which is the bit that Xbox has not been doing, which is, you know, making games.
Which is hard to do, to be fair, as a games company, right? It's not like your main thing to do ever. Come on now.
I mean, at least they had that game that shattered all records and people have not stopped talking about it, Starfield.
Man, that was a flash in the pan, wasn't it?
There you go, Xbox. We've been right. We called it Please continue.
No, go on.
Just saying we were right, patting myself on the back.
We're gonna give it a little bit more time so we can get a bit more information because
I haven't played it.
I haven't played it either, which is I regret it. It came at such a bad time. Baldur's Gate, then Cyberpunk and whatnot. But
I'll tell you this though, I feel like I heard more about Horizon both times, and that came out the worst possible, worse than Baldur's Gate. No one knew Baldur's Gate was going to be what it is, right? In fact, no one knew Elden Ring was going to be what it was. But so fair enough. Even playing field, Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West both came out at the worst possible times, like next to, was it Breath of the Wild and then Elden Ring, and I still feel like that got spoken about more than I'm hearing about Starfield. And the reason I think I can say that, because obviously I'm a little bit more attached to the PlayStation side of the internet, is that the Xbox would not have let Starfield drop. They would not have let us hear the end of it.
What it is that they actually are still talking about it, but they're not talking about
quietly in their own little corner.
What it is, they're not talking about it with any evidence.
Yeah. You give us Spider-Man, we'll give you Starfield.
They're doing their thing with it. They're talking about it. They're actually saying that is the game of the generation, but with nothing to back that up.
Yeah, they're just saying the words.
They're just saying the words because they want it to be true. It's like if they say it enough times, then it is going to be true in their words. I don't know because I haven't played it, but I will play it. And when I do play it, I'll be able to tell whether or not all of this was bullshit. However, the rest of the internet is calling bullshit.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that all of those people are wrong and you're right.
Yeah, you're calling game of the generation, but more than half of the gaming world can play it and isn't talking about it the way they talked about Elden Ring and BG3. Like, so then if they're not talking about it the same way they did about Baldur's Gate or Elden Ring, why is it better than them?
There can only be 5 games, I think, nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards. There have been more than 5 Game of the Year games come out this year.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
I will not be surprised if Starfield gets left off like this because it's just been such a jam-packed year.
I won't be surprised if it wins, by the way. Not because it deserves it, but because these things are rigged.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I won't be surprised if it's left off of it.
I agree.
And if it does get left off it, just in the nomination stages already, the internet is going to freaking riot. It's going to be so
It's going to be
fucking
so
toxic.
funny. It's going to be so funny.
It will be. It will be. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's kick it over to our next topic, which is also quite a big topic. By the way, see you later, Jim. Go off into the night. What's the thing from Interstellar? Don't go softly into the night. Whatever.
Also, isn't that that's Independence Day?
Is it?
We'll not go quietly into the night.
Yeah, that's it. That's what that is.
Not Interstellar.
What does Michael Caine say in Interstellar? He says something in Interstellar before they go into the black hole, right?
Yeah, hon. It's do not go gently into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the dying of light.
Those words I just said, Jim. Thank you for your service. Take care of yourself, and we'll see what happens next with PlayStation. We'll talk about it here.
Yeah.
Okay. The next topic.
Yes.
Xbox made a big old whoopsie.
They picked a whole bunch of oopsie daisies.
They did. So the FTC trial is sort of coming to an end. They're just doing some like last minute sort of reshuffling of their. So the FTC part is over, but the acquisition part between Xbox and Activision, they're just doing some last minute paper stuff and whatnot, ironing out the
deals
finer
of this
details.
size are not like, hey, I'll give you $5 for that thing, and you go, yeah, all right, cool.
It takes a bit of time, and they're working on that.
Yeah.
Now, they still have some legal obligations to hand over to the FTC, some things, so they can do their paperwork as well.
Yeah.
And in the midst of that, one of the Xbox employees uploaded a bunch of data to the FTC servers, unredacted and completely public to everybody.
Yeah.
And it gave us a shit ton of information on Xbox. So many emails that were not meant to be seen. So many forward plans, including exclusivity.
That guy lost his job.
You know, right? In terms of new generation consoles that are coming up, and all kinds of projections and personal feelings about things like Game Pass and stuff like that. And we're going to go through a bunch of that stuff here today. It's very, very interesting, and I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy what's going on. Okay. So where should we start? Let's start first of all with Phil Spencer.
Yes.
At the beginning of 2020, when the PlayStation 5 was revealed. This is back in March 2020.
Yeah. This one's good.
When the PlayStation 5 was revealed, the Xbox revealed around a similar time, and they wanted to sort of gauge, because they didn't know for sure how things were going to be, the price and the power advantages between it, not 100% what's going to happen, and how far it was going to be. And Phil Spencer wrote this email to Satya the day that the reveal happened.
Yeah.
Day after the reveal happened, my apologies. So Phil says, subject, Sony PS5 reveal. Even as I type this, I shouldn't, but I can't help myself. We've all lived 7 years starting off the generation with a price and performance and messaging in brackets disadvantage to PS4 with the Xbox One. I have to admit, this morning when I woke up knowing the PS5 reveal was today, that the stress levels were higher than normal. Now almost 12 hours of soaking in their unveil, taking apart their specs, and looking at the community responses. So sorry about this, man.
It's Playcast, boys.
It's so bad. I'm going to try and speak just a little bit quieter so I can talk for longer.
Cool.
If that's okay. And I'll talk more into the microphone so you should be able to get it. After the community responses, I just wanted to say that I am proud of our team. We have the better product than Sony does, not just on our hardware, but equally importantly, our software platform and services on top of the hardware. We have the ingredients of a winning plan. I felt the feedback from the board of directors discussion on being too confident, and maybe this will just reinforce that perception. I get the need to be humbly confident, but today was a good day for us. We haven't won anything, and I know that we have hard discussions about pricing, P&L, investments, etc. This mail isn't trying to scoop any of that. Those discussions really matter, but we can take a confidence in our product truth here, and I do believe that any conversation needs to start with believing in that. This is a good day for Xbox. Thanks for indulging me, Phil. So that was Phil back
that aged like milk.
So bad, right? I mean, when this first came out, I was like, how does anybody listen to Phil anymore? It's one thing with where he all the time speaks out of both sides of his mouth, where behind the scenes he must know that things aren't going so well, but then he projects confidence. He projects that we're the winners, and it's like, cool, that's a play in business. You got to try and act like the winner. You got to fake it until you make it, that kind of thing, right? Cool, no problem. I don't like it, especially when you go too far. You can always say like, I'm really excited for this, cool, but when you say you're the best when you're not, that's just categorically lying, and I don't respect that. But this right here is, he genuinely believes that the Xbox was better than the PlayStation 5.
What if that had come out and said it was really stressful, but because we had no idea what they were going with, it looks like actually we're going to be really competitive, which was a concern because Sony led the last generation. I'm really keen to see what happens. Now we just need to nail it with some good games so that people sell their PS5s and come and buy an Xbox Series X. Cool. You got it wrong. You didn't realize the gap. Also, in fairness, no one realized the gap because we didn't know how serious the proprietary memory was. Yeah, we guessed, but there were other questions about reliability. Like we just didn't know. Yeah. And on paper, like there were teraflop tests and stuff.
Yeah. Even though early on we found out that was going to be an incorrect way of like gauging these new systems.
So like if it was that, it would have been like, okay, cool, fine. But actually, we're winning. We've won. Look how shit they are. We don't even have to make good games because no one's going to buy a PS5.
Even if you take out the console part, let's say the console part is hard to gauge, right?
Yeah.
Even though, at this stage, if you're the head of a company, you should be able to predict with a fair degree of accuracy whether or not you're in the lead or not. And he was speaking with such confidence. The software part is hilarious to me because that's the one thing that I think Xbox has absolutely crapped the bed with, is that they have no games. They have no games. And this guy's like, more importantly, we've nailed the software. I'm like, hold on, what?
You're a gaming platform and the biggest publisher for your platform, like Sony is, right? Obviously, there are more games made outside of Sony, but Sony makes the best games on their platform, as it happens. Other than like COD and stuff. You don't make games. You went 700 days without a single title. What are you talking about? That is insane.
So stupid. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was one of the emails that came out of then. I thought it was particularly funny. And I did say at the time, I was like, I don't know how we can listen to Phil anymore, because before it was okay when it was just him faking it to make it. But this just shows someone who has absolutely no grasp on reality.
The field.
Right, of the field that he works in. So it's like, how do we even listen to him? Anyway. That was that one. The next big news that came out of it was a plan back in January, February, March, April, May, June of 2020. Or it might be August because it's American dates, perhaps. Who knows? June or August.
One of them.
Stating Xbox's intent to buy Nintendo at one point. Now, this was news a long time ago, like 20 years ago, where Xbox tried to buy Nintendo back in the day, and they were laughed out of the CEO suite. They were like, no, we're never going to sell to you guys. But they have always been thinking about it, I guess. And more recently, while they were thinking about the ZeniMax acquisition after that, they were looking at possible other avenues to go. Valve and Nintendo were big options for them to go for. And I'm going to read out what Phil said. There was a part here I wanted to read out. I'm going to read out the whole thing.
Cool.
What the fuck? Sorry, my apologies. This isn't the right quote. Oh no, I've written it. Oh, okay.
Whoops.
We're gonna. Damn. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do it from my memory then, because unfortunately this hasn't. This hasn't got the right thing. I haven't got the right one in front of me. But basically, he was talking about how it would be a career-defining moment to buy Nintendo as an Xbox brand, as an Xbox CEO, as an Xbox boss. It would be a career-defining moment to buy Nintendo, another big publisher, another big platform on the table. And that was really troubling to me, because it was like, not making great games, not providing an amazing service,
not making another Halo,
not providing amazing service for people, not for making the fans happy, not for producing a brand that you could be proud of or anything like that, but simply buying another big platform would be a career-defining moment and a career-defining action in your entire Xbox brand. It seemed so soulless to me, and it reinforced all these feelings that I've had for Xbox, where it's like, you're so creatively bankrupt that you can't even, your first thought isn't even to make great games.
It's to buy something.
It's to buy something. Now, imagine what would happen. What would happen to you if you didn't have the backing of Microsoft? If you was just Xbox and you didn't have the backing of Microsoft? What would happen to you? You have no creativity. We've just proven you're creatively bankrupt.
Yeah.
What would you do? You do nothing.
Yeah, they do nothing. Well, they'd run Xbox into the ground almost immediately.
Exactly. Yeah. And that really kind of got on my nerves, because it all this talk about when Activision was being purchased and when Bethesda were being purchased to a lesser degree, we was all like, they're clearly trying to monopolize. They're clearly trying to flash their cash around, try to buy as many of your options out there, so you have no options, so you come to them. And people were like, no. They're trying to make it more accessible to more people. And I'm like, by adding cloud or adding mobile doesn't make it more accessible to more people. Those people weren't interested in the first place. You're giving them an option. Cool, great, that's fantastic. But you're taking it away from people who are interested at the moment.
Yeah.
The PlayStation community, the one where the biggest community out there of gamers. You can't say that's pro consumer, pro gamer. You're taking it away from this huge number of gamers.
Yeah.
And people are trying to be like, oh, no, Phil Spencer over there, along with all the other executives over at Xbox, Satya, Sarah Bond, all of them over there, they're all just strumming on guitars around the fire with marshmallows, singing
What's best
Kumbaya.
For the consumer.
That's what they're doing. They're thinking about us, when really they're thinking about taking Nintendo away from from anyone else so they can have it all for themselves. It's, in my opinion, that shut down the arguments of all of those idiots who were trying to say, no, they're actually really good people when they're thinking about all of us. What's really annoying is that those people who are actually, unfortunately, mentally ill, who are like constantly waving the Xbox flag on like Twitter and stuff like that, they only saw this as a positive because they only ever wanted pain and suffering for other people. They didn't want more games on Xbox or anything. They just want pain and suffering.
They want to take things away from PlayStation, even if they don't get anything on Xbox. If they take something away from someone else, that makes it the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's very toxic behavior.
It was that was a very damning email. Now, Phil Spencer did come out afterwards, and I'm bringing this up now because it's relevant to the conversation we just had. Let me just pull up his tweet. He sent out a tweet addressing everything that happened here.
Yeah.
And he tried to pitch it as like, these were old plans. They're not current plans how they were now.
No, they weren't. We know they weren't.
He says, we've seen the conversation around old emails and documents. It's hard to see our team's work shared in this way. So much has changed, and there's so much to be excited about right now and in the future. We'll share real plans when they are ready.
What?
It's just so... This is unfortunately one of the reasons why people don't like you as much for... Well, I don't like you, I'll say at least. Because... Tell us why this is wrong, then. Tell us why this is wrong, because this was before the Activision was even on the playing field.
Every time things come out from Xbox, they say one thing. Emails come out, and they lied the entire time. Everything they do. Do you know what's interesting? Is actually I think the consumer reflects the company very well when it comes to Xbox and Xbots, because Xbots are toxic, and every time we see internal comms from Xbox, they're toxic as well. And I'm not saying there aren't toxic things that go on in PlayStation, but we don't constantly see these emails that come out saying, basically, ha ha ha, can you believe those suckers bought our lies? You know? Like, it's ridiculous. And every single time there are internal comms from Xbox, they're all either saying that you're idiots, we're idiots, PlayStation suck, we want to destroy PlayStation, we want to destroy consumers, you know?
Yeah.
We told them one thing and we're saying another, and they're constantly lying. And I would argue, and I don't, for legal reasons, it's a joke, because I don't understand like the economics of it. But when there are discussions about their like P&L and their not productivity, how much money they make, profits. There you go, and their profit model, they all seem to be damning. And like we have been working in a best case scenario about Games Pass, saying how it doesn't work, and the real numbers are way worse than what we said. Way worse.
We've got some information about that as well. That kind of it's interesting as well how they tried to pitch it.
Yeah.
Shall I talk about that
Go
now?
for it, man.
Okay, so information came out regarding Game Pass and how it's doing and what their projections are and how they feel internally about it. First things first, I'm going to pull from an email, which is from Jean-Emile Eileen, who is apparently he's a software head at Xbox, and he seems very concerned about the whole Game Pass situation. He goes, Game Pass relative to studios, that's the subject line. My turn to say, honestly, I don't know. I don't know really what goes into closing a studio, how much funding versus personnel versus output feeds this decision. In my mind, if a studio completely needs to prove their worth by being a net value to the cost, it adds a ton of pressure to release regular hits on a regular basis. If a game is a niche, though, too bad. This is not an armchair quarterbacking, I swear. I'm just super worried about the moat you've built, a Game Pass around the Xbox, that the winds will change and that we'll have a bloodbath in a few years down the road, especially given our prior peer cloud companies estimating their game creation process. And by the grace of God, I don't know why I said by the grace of God there. Not my job, I appreciate. So trying to train my mental model on how to think when it comes to the consistent content side of our house, not to be worried, especially when the economics have changed with Game Pass. Basically, what he's trying to say there is that making consistent games, what sort of pressure does that put on game studios if the cost of Game Pass is so astronomical? What decision goes into keeping that studio open? Is it all shifted onto the studio because you've come up with a really bad model that costs a lot of money?
Yeah.
So is that going to shut us down? Whereas in a normal way, we might have made a good game and it would have been fine.
Right.
Who knows? Anyway, I will say, after that email, I don't have it here, but I remember it quite vividly. Phil Spencer goes into detail. He's like, look, we've never closed down a studio based on their P&L.
Yeah.
It's never been that way. We've always done it because like a creative head has left or something like that. And it's all just fallen apart by the seams. We've funded things and beyond. And to Xbox's credit, they do that.
That is true.
They don't really care about money so much, so they can just fund something until it sinks so much money into it. Halo Infinite, even how much has gone through.
I mean, it's very clear that the P&L is not something they're interested in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I will give them credit for that, but it just shows that even internally, some of the people really high up, they aren't very happy about what's going on with Game Pass. Now, let's go over to the juicy stuff.
Yeah.
So in the court case, it was revealed that Xbox's Game Pass, guess how much Xbox's Game Pass makes per sub for the per year, basically, per month, sorry.
You told me and I've forgotten.
Yeah, I think I might have told you a while back.
Yeah, I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
Oh no, I remember being shocked at how high it was.
The base price of Games Pass is $9.99.
Yeah, I was going to guess a tenner.
And then it's $16.99, I think, for Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, so I was going to guess a tenner, but given the number of people doing exploits and the $1 for 3 years thing, I was going to guess that like a $5 per person or something. But I remember you telling me, and it was surprisingly high.
Yes. So right now they have 25 million subscribers on Xbox Game Pass. That was the last number that they gave in January 2022.
Yeah.
That's the last number we've got. And there's later on in the judge's questionings, apparently that number hasn't gone up in the entire year. Cool. It still stays stagnant at 25 million, which is not great news.
Yeah.
But apparently the average cost is $9. $9 per month.
Let's call it a tenner just to keep the maths round for us. So 25 million a month.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty nice actually. Pretty nice right there.
Would be if you didn't sink 10 times that into Halo Infinite and then try and rate people for their money and no one plays it anymore.
Well, here's the thing. By the way, it's not 25, it's 250 because it's 10.
200, quarter of a billion a month. Yeah. Sorry, bruv. I'm bad though.
I was quite amazed at that, by the way. When I saw that, I was like, that's quite a decent number for what I expected. Yeah. Now, it probably didn't start that way with all the deals that they were doing, and it's gotten...
cost of acquisition and stuff. But on paper, $250 million a month Game Pass makes.
Exactly, which is quite nice on the face of it.
Yeah, even though previously from our best case numbers they needed, was it 53 million users for it to break even?
Oh, you can forget all about that because I've got a brand new fresh number for you right here.
Okay.
And you're not going to like it.
I just want to preface, 53 million to break even was the original, or it might have been 58. We'll say 50 million users.
Yes.
So they're halfway there. And that was from 2017.
A while ago,
I believe.
Whatever it was.
Yes.
Okay, so that was that one there. And then during this same court documents that came out telling us how much they made, they also listed a bunch of games that Xbox were willing to go to, a bunch of publishers they're willing to go to get day-and-date games, versus when they would come out, probability of you getting them, and how much it would cost to get those on the service per month, day and date, or however afterwards, whatever it was going to be, for how long. And I'm just going to read out a couple of them and give you the relative costs for them. So, Techland's Dying Light 2.
Yeah.
To get that day and date for 180 days, those contract length was going to be. So, half a year, 6 months. 50 million it was going to be to get that one there.
That's they make...
That's for one game.
Yeah, they make $250 million a month. I've never heard of this game. That's a rip-off.
You haven't heard of it. I've heard of it as well, but I don't know if it's a very good game per se. But that's neither here nor there.
What was the name of the game?
It's neither here nor there. Don't worry about that.
I'm just curious.
Dying Light is the name of the game. Techland's the publisher. Neither here nor there. It's a game coming on there.
Okay, Dying Light I have heard of. So
let's have a look at another one. Baldur's Gate was going to be on there. Surprisingly cheap, actually. I guess they just didn't know what a hit they had on their hand. 5 million. Crazy good deal.
Did that happen?
No.
Okay, I was going to say at 5 million, that's an incredible business decision. I'd have paid 5 million to have access for my out of pocket. I'd have found that 5 million.
Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. 250 million. So that 1 month just gone right there. Jedi Fallen Order. So Jedi Survivor, sorry.
Jedi Survivor, yeah.
300 million.
To their competitors, basically,
Mortal Kombat 1, the one that just came out, 250 million. GTA 5, between 12 and 5 million.
Are these prices they actually paid?
These are prices that they negotiated and they were thinking about, but some of them they just didn't go through with. But that was the numbers they were talking with and stuff.
I was going to say you can negotiate that, but actually, if a Game Pass, you can't negotiate it. You need these games day and date, and the games know that. And if it's something like a Mortal Kombat,
I was just going to say that because some of these games, for example, like EA's Jedi Survivor, right?
Yeah.
300 million. Fucking hell, come on, man. And you just want that for however long it is. I'm not sure how many days they're going to keep it on there. But that's probably the cost of the development.
Yeah.
That's an insane number. Now, that could be EA capitalizing on the fact that Xbox had no games for, like I said, 700 days. Yeah. And they were like, we're going to wring them dry. 300 million or nothing. See you later. Because they know they're desperate for games.
Well, and also the model is day and date. But, like, the thing is that it doesn't... Yes, it generates, like, subscription revenue, but it's just that. And the people won't buy games from them.
Yeah. So these numbers I've given you right here, they're just a couple of games that I've mentioned that were day and date.
So
and based on
we expected they were spending a ton of money, but that's a lot. Yeah.
And based on the fact that that is the whole business model, that's why everybody's in on it because of the day and date games that come with it. And this is only a couple of them, and there's supposed to be 500 plus games on the service. There's no way that this service makes any sort of money. Well, and then you have to factor in their own in-house games that cost the 200 million to make anyway, and
your Halo Infinites that also people don't buy,
and then all of the salaries that you have to pay for, and all of the tech they have to keep running on in the background, all the servers and stuff like that. This is definitely a service that runs in the red all the time, and it doesn't work out.
Devil's advocate, games like Baldur's Gate 3 for 5 million.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if it was like, if you said, oh, kill the Justice League, Suicide Squad kills the Justice League, 20 million. I'd be like, that's a bit expensive, but okay. But everything's 10 times more expensive, except Baldur's Gate, which they missed. Cool. So they're halfway to being profitable on the original numbers.
That's the original numbers.
The original numbers is, so 500 million a month to break even.
As I said, forget all about that because the next thing that came out was their own internal projections for Game Pass, and they were discussing it, and they were thinking about where they need to be, what progress they need to make in terms of Xbox's Game Pass in order to say, okay, this is a sustainable model and we can invest more into it and we can say this is successful.
Yeah.
This Xbox Game Pass was their last-ditch effort after the Xbox One sort of like crushing failure of like all of their install base and their sales, basically. Yeah. They couldn't sell games after that. They weren't making very many games and people just weren't coming to their console, so they couldn't fund games. So they did this last-ditch effort. Internally, they have a projection, a goal, I should say, to reach 100 million subscribers by 2029/2030.
Right.
Or they may consider leaving the gaming industry altogether.
Having completely destroyed it but acquiring everything.
Well, like we said. Now, it's possible that plans have changed since this came out because this was 2020.
Yeah.
So this is a long while ago. Now they have Activision. They've got a bit more under their belt. They may go, all right, maybe we leave the console market. Maybe we just go to software. Maybe Xbox Game Pass dies.
That'll be good. They'll just focus on making games.
Right. Maybe Xbox Game Pass dies and we just go to more traditional publisher. Who knows what their idea will be now. But that was their original goal. And I thought that was super interesting that they were like, we either have 100 million subscribers because that's where the money's going to be. Exactly. I mean,
it's been 7 years.
2017 it came out. So
6 years.
6 years, yeah.
6 years.
and 25 million subscribers, and it's stagnated in the last. Now, granted, it's probably gone up since Starfield came out a little bit, so we don't know. We don't have that number just yet.
The thing is, they don't need to hit 100 million. They need 100 million consistent users.
Even with the Activision deal, even with the people who every Xbox podcast I listen to, they always seem to assume that, when they get the Activision deal, that's going to be 100 million subscribers like that.
Right.
And I'm like, you think that everyone who buys Call of Duty are just going to suddenly sign up to a subscription service?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, why would that be?
Why wouldn't they just spend the $70 like they do now and buy the game?
Right. Because if you play for 4 months...
Yeah. Why would they sign up to the $200 subscription service? I don't get it. Why would they do that? Anyway, I thought that was super interesting. What do you think about that? How do you feel? I don't want them to go away.
We've been saying it the whole time. I also said, weirdly, the timeline was about where I said, look, I don't think they're making a play for next year's market or next generations, didn't I? I said, I think they're making a play for gaming as a whole. And it turns out that was somewhat true, but they're definitely thinking long term. They're thinking, 10, 15 years down the line. The question I have is that if they have these companies, they're not getting 100 million. I don't see them getting 100 million by the end of this decade, right? That seems pretty obvious to anybody because they're not making anything and nothing good enough that's worth being on Xbox or even playing on Game Pass, let's say. What does happen if they do what they've been doing with their own studios and their own decision making and the people that they've been working with, run all these companies into the ground, or all these companies are allowed to not perform, and then they do say, right, well, we're closing up Game Pass, let's say, or we're getting out of console making. What happens? Because they own all these brands that may well have killed themselves off. Like, look, Starfield is not game of the generation. It might be the best game Bethesda's ever made, but that's like saying Halo Infinite is the best Halo 343's ever made, as an example.
Little interject here. Yeah. According to Steam ratings, Starfield is the worst Bethesda game they've ever made. Its rating recently dropped below Fallout 76.
What?
Yeah.
No, I don't. On the surface, I don't believe that.
Here's one thing: is
because Fallout 76 was atrocious.
This is a user rating, to be fair. So
okay.
But the problem is that Steam. The reason why people regard Steam's rating as something like quite valuable, is because
it's verified.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even if you buy a game and then you refund it, your review gets removed.
Yeah.
So it can't be review bombed just out of like someone couldn't have just bought it and then refunded the game and then gone I put my negative review in, which like some people on the internet said, and then Community Notes had to swoop in and correct them.
I'm gonna devil's advocate this. Like it's a pat on the back for Starfield to fail, right? But I don't want Starfield to fail. I want Xbox strong and making games, to be clear. But I feel like a lot of people, it's that Cyberpunk thing, or maybe what we did with God of War Ragnarok, where we hyped it up in our heads so much.
Yeah.
In fairness, we were trying, and mostly for ourselves, to say like, look, it doesn't have to beat 2018. It just has to not ruin it. But even still, like I was a little. Not disappointed. It was a good game, but I was hoping it would be a bit better, And maybe people are expecting like the next Skyrim or something 10 times better than Skyrim. They're expecting what God of War 3 to God of War 2018, and that didn't happen. They're like, well, the game's shit. Yeah. Well, actually, hold on a minute. Fallout 76 was shit. It was really bad, and even now that it's running and working fine, it's not good. So is it worse than Fallout 76? I suspect not. I suspect that
as well.
I feel like it's just that people are expecting it to be The Witcher 3. You know, they're expecting it to be amazing because everybody, including Xbox, is saying how amazing it will be. And actually, it's just the next one. You know, it might be as good as Fallout 4, Fallout 3. It's probably not as good as New Vegas. It might be as good as Skyrim. I don't know, but I don't think it's that bad. I don't get the feeling that it's that bad. Because the internet was on fire with Fallout 76 and how bad it is. Actually, it might be worse than Fallout 76 in that sense, because at least Fallout 76 got attention. Starfield has just gone quiet. It's just been, it seems to have just been disappointing.
It's disappointing in my eyes because it's a game that apparently took apparently that was 25 years in the making.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like, this seems like a ridiculous amount of time that you've dedicated to a brand new IP for it to, within the first month, just sort of die off a little bit out of the conversation. Like, even for better or for worse, Cyberpunk was still talked about, though, like, it was mainly like people were talking about bugs, other people were talking about the game.
Yeah.
We got to the game, we can talk about whether or not some people were disappointed, some people were happy about it. There were people who were still talking about bugs.
Let's
what's the future going to be? Every single stream they did where they were talking about updates for the future, people were there, they were listening. There was still conversation around it. And that was a game that took forever to come out and forever in the works and in production.
Yeah. Well,
just like this one. But this one just seems to have died from the corner.
8 years, 8 or 9 for Cyberpunk, I think it was. So less than half the time apparently of this. And I will say, the game that you could play, the game as you played it, not because I know there was a lot of disappointment, like there was no monorail system and no flying cars and all that stuff. The game as you played it, the story as you played it, even with all the bugs, was still kind of enjoyable, and there was good stuff in there. But the things that I think are disappointing people with Starfield is like mines on these planets. They are, I think you told me this, they're all the same.
Copies,
they all have the same skeleton at the bottom in the same place. They all have the same layout, stuff like that.
Space exploration
isn't
and really I think, space exploration.
Right, and also the planetary exploration isn't really planetary exploration. It's just, I think that stuff. Yeah. Now I will say as well, that's sort of, it's not the same, but that's how I felt about Death Stranding. I just felt it was too there was nothing there. And I didn't play the whole thing, to be fair. It might have got better. So, yeah, I think people were just disappointed about it. They were supposed to be something that it wasn't. But I don't think it's worse than Fallout 76. I think people are just being salty.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, as I said, it's just the user rating happened to have dropped below there. I don't think it was anyone's intent to try and make that happen, but it just got to it.
That is insane, though.
Yeah, that is pretty insane to say, isn't it? It must be really bad internally at Bethesda to be like, oh god.
Yeah, that's mental. That is mental.
The next thing that got leaked in this giant document was the percentage number of people who have bought Xbox Series S's versus X's. Take a guess at what the percentage difference is there. This is as of 2020. So yeah.
I mean, I bet it's...
Sorry, 2022. My apologies.
This one's hard for me to predict because you've always been able to get both. Like, they've been readily available. And I've seen tons of S's everywhere. So in terms of how easy they're to get, the S is way easier. But it's not like it's been hard to get an X. I'm going to bet it's 2 to 1. So for every 2 S's, they sell 1 X.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah. It's higher.
Oh, no.
It's 4 to 1. I think that's how it works. 75% are S's.
That's not good.
That's not good.
No wonder no one's having fun on Xbox anyway, because no one's...
It's a kind of a mixed bag for me, because it's like, okay, so the most popular console that Xbox sells is the compromised console. The console that is purely cheaper. Maybe that speaks to us, that we are in such like a gaming bubble as like hardcore gamers, that we think like, why would anyone bother that? Or maybe it means that Xbox has successfully conned the average Joe to buy this compromised console, like we're saying, just by flashing deals in front of their face, like $199, get a next gen console with no compromise, $199.
Yeah,
perhaps. Or maybe people just don't care and they just want to get in at the cheapest possible level, which is totally a thing. Like, how many times do people buy insurance with their phones or something like that? Yeah. Very rarely. It's such a low rate.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. People are price conscious, especially in today's climate as well. So possibly that's it. What I will say though about that though is that I feel like Xbox have taken that data and have created a self-fulfilling prophecy.
God.
What do you think the reason is people are buying the Xbox Series S? Give me the number one reason why.
The real reason or the reason they think it is?
The real reason. The
real reason, it's because it's the absolute cheapest bargain bucket way to get into the thing, and it doesn't hurt. So you can just get that, maybe get Game Pass, play for a little bit, let that lapse, and you're going to forget about it, stick it in a drawer, and never play it again until Starfield comes out or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah,
the cheapest price to get in.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they're buying it. Well, Xbox have got it in their own minds, and they've like, it's sort of like when a girlfriend...
People love shit quality. They like the shit option.
It's like, as I said, self-fulfilling prophecy. They've got it in their own minds that the actual reason why people wanted it is because it doesn't have a disc drive. That's the reason why people bought it. So in the future, in 2024, they're coming out with an Xbox Series X, but an adorably all-digital version. And I shit you not, it says adorably all-digital.
Everybody knows that the most popular...
Don't know what that means.
The most popular Ford Mustang is the 1.5 litre 4-cylinder. Certainly not the 3 litre supercharged V8. No one wants the best engine in the muscle car. No. That's insane.
Absolutely insane. It's like going, oh well, the reason why the most popular houses in London are the 1-bedroom flats, not because that's what people can afford, not because of the price, it's because people don't actually like living in 7-bedroom mansions. Come on now,
too much to clean.
Oh, the amount of cleaning you have to walkie-talkies to talk to people across the house. It's just inconvenient.
Now I will say, because it is important to get both sides of the coin, Sony are doing other silly things with the disc drive, like they're having that detachable disc drive thing. So but they're winning hard, so they can do dumb shit.
Yeah.
And
it's experiment,
and maybe people will dig it. Like, my fond memories of the Game Boy are all the dumb attachments. The magnifier, the light, the printer, the camera, right? Like, maybe there is something there, and we just... on the surface, we're not seeing it. I think it's a stupid idea. But Sony is by far in the lead in this race. And maybe it is a product that people want. Maybe they have data that we haven't seen. That makes sense. But this with adorably all digital Xbox Series X, there's nothing to play.
Yeah. What it is that they were like, oh, we're selling the Series S, but that's not actually the console we want to sell. We want to sell the more powerful one.
Stop making the S.
The reason why people aren't buying it is because it's got a disc drive in it. Guys, remove that, and then it's all
yeah. Then people will buy it. People won't. They just won't buy a much better console because it takes discs. They'll be able to watch all their DVDs and Blu-rays on our product. That's why they don't want it. What?
It's so stupid. It's called the...
And that's the reason the PS5 hasn't sold, isn't it? Because that has a disc drive. Ridiculous.
The Xbox Series X refresh is project name is Brooklyn. It's the most powerful Xbox ever. Now adorably all digital, as I mentioned. I really hate that line.
That is ridiculous. What's the hard drive space on it?
2 terabytes.
That's pretty good.
Pretty decent on that. I'll give them that. They've modernized the Wi-Fi with the 6E band that they've put on there.
Cool.
The best Bluetooth that's available right now. Reduced its power consumption by 15%, which is nice.
Okay.
Made from 100% recyclable plastics and stuff like that.
Don't care about any of that.
The price, still $499. So...
But wait. How's it the same if they're reducing components and
stuff? That's it. They've given you more hard drive space now.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Well, it's got you got no disk drive, so everything's going to have to be digital, so you have to have all that space in there. Yeah. I tell you the biggest thing that they've done, though, and I don't know why the stupidest thing they've done. I don't know why they've done it, because Apple made this mistake, and it swept the world. They should have seen their mistake. They've made it...
Proprietary power cable.
They've made it look like a trash can.
So they went from a mini fridge to a trash can.
They've made it a cylindrical black tube, and it just looks like a bin. It looks like a trash can.
It looks like an old school speaker. as well. Like, there's no good. It's either a trash can or like a bullet speaker thing. Like, it's just not.
Yeah.
But okay, whatever. The thing is, here's my question. It's the same price as a PS5.
Yeah.
What is there that I want to play on it? Not a huge amount. What is there?
Well,
like, why buy that instead of a PS5? That's my question.
Well, this is the main crux.
In terms of games.
This is our main issue with Xbox in general.
Yeah.
Like, all this other stuff can be hilarious, and Game Pass is a genuine like problem for us. We feel
Yes,
like
it
it's
is.
going to have a
Very
negative
negative.
impact on the whole gaming industry and stuff like that.
But we gamers, I go where the games are.
But if there were games, then at least we can say, look, they're producing games. They want to be
might have one.
compensated in a different way. They're trying something new, but at least they're providing something to the industry. They're not just taking it out.
Yeah.
And I will say, to Phil Spencer's credit, he actually got pissed off in an internal email regarding the slate of games and stuff like that. And I want to read out an email to you. It's a little bit lengthy, but I feel like it accurately depicts Phil Spencer internally what's going on. So this was 2022, May 2022.
Okay.
This was
So recently, a year ago.
There was like 1 year after the 700 days of like of everything, and then there was another year stint where there was going to be no games, but this was like just prior to that. So it goes, okay. Importance high. Subject games. Phil Spencer says. With the news that Starfield is going to miss holiday, not broadly communicated, let's let Jamie manage that. Good old Jamie, good on you.
Well done, Jamie. Yeah.
Still not a ton of clarity on the launch date of Redfall and Stalker 2 development. So, Stalker 2 development so impacted by the Ukraine war.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah. I feel we're in a huge hole with our games lineup, both for platform, marketing, differentiation, and our Game Pass content. We keep talking a bit about AAA a quarter in a service, which they did talk about. They said they want to hit a AAA game every single quarter on Game Pass. That's what their plan is. Eventually,
just so I'm clear, they mean they want to have a AAA game on it, not one of theirs as a AAA.
No, actually, one of theirs.
I like that ambition. That's very ambitious.
Good goal to shoot for.
Yeah, and if they buy enough companies, they might have a chance to hit that.
I think what they did is they set themselves a ridiculous target, and they were like, "Well, we have to buy things so we can hit our target. Why'd you set that target in the first place?"
Yeah. Why don't you start maybe making some games? Anyway, besides the point, please continue. Yeah.
We keep talking about a bit about our AAA a quarter in a service, and it feels like we're likely to go through a gap in 2020 of almost 16 months between big exclusives launches on our platform, Halo Infinite being our last one in December 8th of 2021. This is a real disaster situation for us, given all we've invested in our content across studios at our Game Pass content fund. We need to learn from this and build a better plan going forward.
I'm liking everything I'm hearing.
It's fantastic. I mean, it shows great awareness, and it shows he's concerned about the same things that we've been concerned about. Yeah,
because he got thoroughly whipped over being wrong about the PS5 versus the Xbox. Yeah,
exactly. In terms of learning, I think we need to get much better at overall portfolio planning in our games with real, honest dates. Doing this from memory, from summer 2021 through to December 2021. We had an amazing lineup of games with Flight Sim to console, Psychonauts, Age of Empires 4, Forza Horizon 5, and Halo. There were good third-party games in that time frame as well, such as Back 4 Blood, which wasn't that great.
No.
We set a very high bar for 2021 on quality and pace of our content, which was awesome to see, but come off of that year with no big exclusives launching in 2022 is a portfolio planning miss that we can't afford. If we need to delay launches, understanding there are financial impacts of that, to create more regular beats for us, then we need to do that. We have to all understand the situation we are in now is a failure of our planning and production execution. Again,
this is a great email.
And it really the bullshit that we heard before about that we fucking nailed it, guys, with the Xbox reveal. PlayStation is going down. That's such you're drinking your own Kool-Aid there. That's not, you shouldn't be like that. This is like accurately, sorry for coughing into the mic there. This is accurately laying out to your team and honesty is going to get you much further than lying.
Right. So my question is, now what? Or is it
still
more?
Goes on,
okay.
Now let's roll up our sleeves. So it might be just exactly what you're saying right there. Now let's roll up our sleeves and get to planning on the next 2 years of games. First, we need to build an accurate list of new game launches that are coming in the next 24 months with expected release dates. For now, I don't want to litter this list with content updates or seasons or for existing games.
Fantastic.
Amazing, because we are growing so tired of all of that shit.
Yeah, this is
the Lego DLC.
This guy sounds like he knows how to run not just a console producer, but a games producer, right? A publication monster.
It's someone you want to see at the head of a company.
I like the sound of this email a lot.
This is the Phil Spencer that we want. We need launches. Let's build across our first, second, and third party looking at Game Pass launches. I think we are going to see that our new big next big game launches is Redfall, hopefully in quote.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but it's a bit odd that he didn't know that it was going to go so south, but hey.
Again, just to on that note, because a previous email he said we never closed a production house based on their P&L, but if you allow the game to come out like that, then you can say, look, it doesn't work. Whether or not it made money, but we're going to put you somewhere else.
You're reinforcing the bad behavior,
right?
You should also have that kind of conversation as well. I'm not aware of Stalker 2's dates, but saw that the studio delayed it indefinitely. Are there any other games we can get? I know overall the portfolio is fairly light from third party, but let's dig. We also need to get some clarity on our internal launch dates. I'm sending this now as I feel real pressure from Tamara someone and how we are going to show up in terms of dates. It will be very obvious to the community with both a lack of updates and so many games and a lack of clarity on almost everything in the show that we are about to position. I need us to work on this as leaders. We've dealt with difficult situations before. We'll do it again. I'm frustrated by where we are, but we'll get through that. The most important thing is that we have a winning plan. Let's get on that, Phil.
That is a fantastic email. That is proper internal comms. That can go from CEO all the way down to like the janitor, basically. That's brilliant. That is what I want from Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm really worried because that made me suddenly a little bit hopeful that actually forget the 100 million on Game Pass, but in 10 years' time, they need to plan to win the end of this generation. This is how Xbox can come back. Why am I hopeful about Xbox? This is so annoying.
The problem is that you've become more hopeful over the years. Your old age has gotten.
It's true. I'm senile,
and it sucks because I do have to kind of rein you in as well, because their reaction to something like this is to go, let's go out and take things away from other people so we can put onto our timeline. And I'm going to go now to
That's the thing. Then the next step needs to be, right, who have we got? What are we making? Let's get some stuff made. And he said in that interview, he said, look, we lost the most competitive generation.
Yeah, the Xbox.
No matter what we do, making good games is going to make people sell their PS5s and buy an Xbox. Well, very politically worded. What he should be aiming for is having enough bangers at the very end of this generation that people go, man, Xbox was strong. Let's see what they do next time, and they buy an Xbox 2 or whatever, or Series Y or whatever the frick, Series Z. That's how they can get back in the game. At this point, like, the thing is, you're right. They're just going to keep buying stuff up so they have games on the roster. They have enough. They have enough places. They're just not making anything.
Somehow in their internally, they've told themselves that they are worth nothing, that they cannot do anything good, and that they shouldn't bother trying, that their only option is to go outside and seek other people's work to steal and put onto their service. It's a shitty mentality to have, and it's shitty that there are so many people out there that are championing that are like, yes, Xbox, go, yes, you guys are the best, you can't do it. I don't get that.
Yeah.
Now, to add to that, this is actually a little bit of an aside. I'm gonna Is there anything else you wanted to say about that?
Are you telling me you want to go on a tangent?
It's a tangent,
you're forewarning us.
It's a main topic tangent, so it's going to
go for it, bruv.
So, as well as all of this information that came out, a bunch of stuff. By the way, a new controller is also going to be released with that new Xbox. It's got like haptic feedbacks and stuff like that.
That's a really unique and ingenious idea.
It is. It's very strange like that. I'll tell you what is interesting about it is it does seem like it's very geared towards their new cloud initiative.
Yeah.
Because it's got like certain features in it where it's like always connected to the Wi-Fi, lift to wake type thing where it's
I don't like that.
It's part of, if you're playing on cloud,
it could be quite convenient.
If you're playing on cloud, it might be something that you like, but it's a controller. I mean, at the end of the day, right?
What's going to happen is, have you ever picked up your controller and accidentally hit the on button and turn PlayStation 5 and get the beep? Yeah. And you know that if your missus is asleep, she's going to wake up and yell at you because you're playing on the PS5 and you were just moving it or whatever. Now you got to like, turn on the TV, wait for it to load up, tell it to turn off.
Yeah.
The second you pick up your controller, if that happens, nightmare.
Yeah.
Nightmare. As long as, do you know what I would really like? I'd like for them to bring out this controller and it just be incredible. It should shit all over the DS5.
Yeah.
That, I suspect what will happen is it'll be a cheap copy of the DS5.
What we said was that, because this came out, the idea of it came out soon after the DualSense controller came out, because Xbox were doing like surveys to ask people stuff. What would you like from a console? Would you like haptics? Would you like adaptive triggers and stuff like that? And people were like, are you guys just trying to see whether or not people would buy a controller that is basically copying the DualSense?
Yeah.
Like, that's what was going on. But we said at the time, we're like, because it doesn't come in the console with everyone that you've shipped and everyone has already bought an Xbox, it's an additional thing you're going to have to sell, which means that developers can't make their games based around this controller because not everyone will have the controller, which means that it adds another level of things that they have to develop for, as well as having an Xbox Series S and an X, which is at 2 different power advantages.
And it adds consumer error.
It's so many levels of... It's a bad idea.
If you make it and game developers patch it in, this has to be a thing that you opt to turn on.
Yeah.
Versus, this is how it is, and you can turn the rumble and the stuff off. So it's not an innate feature. Yeah, it's not the way to do it.
It's such a bad thing to do after the fact. PlayStation got it right by putting it in every single box and from the beginning, and that was their thing.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's a controller. Go for it. They did, however, release some information about some games coming up. The word has always been that every future game coming out from Bethesda, coming out for Xbox, will be done by like case-by-case basis. It'll be like, hey, if it's got heritage on PlayStation, it'll be on PlayStation.
Yeah.
If a game hasn't, then it'll be a case-by-case basis. We'll look at it, and we don't know what the criteria would be for this case-by-case, but we'll look at it and we'll see what happens. When really, in all of our hearts, we all knew it's like, no, they're gonna take games away from PlayStation.
Yeah.
They just don't want to say it because it's bad. And as much as all these people on the internet want to say like, it's not bad, well, then why wouldn't they say it then? If it's not bad and it's good, then why wouldn't they just say it? Because it's bad. That's why they're not saying it. Elder Scrolls 6, all the way back in 2021, has been decided that it's not coming to PlayStation, and they just haven't said anything because they're worried about the bad press, basically.
But it's not bad press.
Well, it's because it's a long-standing franchise. This is the thing. It's okay to take it away, as in because it's your decision to make.
Right.
It's not cool because you've gone out and purchased something that probably would have come over to PlayStation. That's crappy. That's crappy right there. But it's just you're lying to our faces. You're pretending like you don't know. You're pretending like you're oh, well, we could maybe still do it, guys. We could maybe still do it so you can...
Well, also, because the FTC are like, are you going to take things away? No, of course, we've never had those internal conversations. Well, yes, you have.
Exactly.
But the internal conversation, if the emails come out, it's probably, fuck PlayStation, fuck them all, they'll have to come to us now. If instead it was like, look, we made an acquisition, this game isn't coming out for like 6 years, and it's barely in the works at the minute. Like, no, it's probably not going to go to PlayStation because we have to look after our own consumers. That is a perfectly reasonable... if it was in the tone of that Jim Ryan email that we just heard, like, look, Elden Ring is... It's 6 years down...
Phil Spencer.
That's what I said. That's what I meant. Phil Spencer, right? Like, it's on our roster. It's 6 years away. Like, nah, it's not going to go to PlayStation. They've got enough amazing games that it's not taking anything away from them. And, this is going to benefit our own customer base. So, I don't think it's unreasonable. It sucks that, probably some people look like it's being taken away from them, but in reality, it's going to be under development under us for the majority of its development life. So no, it will stay on stay on Xbox. That's perfectly reasonable. And yeah, there'll be some salty Sony ponies, but overall, no one can deny that that's not fair.
Yeah.
But pretending like you're not going to do it and then doing it is terrible.
As I said, it's the idea of that they're trying to project that everything over there is just kumbaya. We're just everyone would live together, peace on earth, guys. We're peace in our time. That's what we're trying to do right here. When really they're trying to fight tooth and nail with the most aggressive tactics ever. And it's like, just stop pretending. We don't care about. Just stop pretending. Tell us you're gonna screw us, and then we can continue our lives and we can go on about it. But just pretend. And as I said, you feel bad that you're gonna screw us. I get it, but that's your decision to make. You have to live with your decisions. Just go with it. Go with it.
And the thing is,
and it's apparently not coming out until at least 2026. So
yeah, it's many years away. Whatever. Also, based on the other games that you have, one, you need something good on Xbox, and two, so far you have nothing good, and the likelihood is it won't be good.
Yeah.
If Bethesda's any way to go by it from what they did with Fallout to Starfield, this will just be the next one.
Yeah.
Unless they take it all the way back to drawing board and they say, hey, Starfield, that was supposed to be our big thing, and you just made it the next one. Guys, when you make Elder Scrolls 6, it can't just be the next one. You can't compare it to the last game that you had out. You have to compare it to Baldur's Gate 3 and Cyberpunk and Ghost of Tsushima and God of War. Those are the games you're competing with, not your last game.
Conversation with Bethesda about that, because they seem to think that they're the only ones that make games and they only compare themselves.
It's the Modern Warfare 3 mic system all over again. They were just comparing themselves to their last game. Well, no, you have to compare yourselves to the games that are out now and are going to be compared directly to the game that you're releasing. It's ridiculous.
Well, this is all the information that I thought was particularly interesting that came out of this leak. It was a big old leak. There's a bunch of stuff that they didn't want to tell everyone, but it got out there, and it just showed that Xbox has been the type of people that we thought they were all along.
Yeah, it's really sad, actually.
There was some nice things in there, some nice feelings and nice ways that Phil was talking in some of those emails. I did
like that last email a lot.
But overall, when you take away from it, it's they want to take things away from other people. And they feel, and they creatively bankrupt over there. They feel like they can't make their own stuff, which is incredibly, incredibly bad for a video game publisher.
Yes, it is.
I don't understand how some people can't see that, and they can't say, okay, you guys need to fix that first of all. All right, that's all the information there. We've got a couple of tiny topics coming up here. Very small stuff. First of all, Spider-Man 2 review codes are going out there, and the start screen has been revealed. It is a I actually have it on my phone here.
Okay.
It is a shot of it's a shot of Harry Osborn. You see the back of his head, and he is looking at the tank with the symbiote in it.
Yeah, seen that. Yeah.
That's the start screen at the moment. It went around on the internet, and people were...
Immediately the hentai artists.
They were all jacking. Oh, God. No, people were like, oh, it looks so uninspired. It looks so terrible. It's like the game's clearly rushed and stuff like that. And I was like, what? It's just so dumb.
I'll admit, I don't think that's the best Spider-Man load screen, right? But what?
I was gonna say it's quite intriguing. Right?
It's interesting. It's unusual colors. We don't often see a lot of green. There's the Venom, so we know that. Well, and also we don't know if this is the first 5 minutes of the game or somewhere in the middle.
So it's good that you say that, because actually, apparently, Spider-Man's load screen is going to change dynamically based on where you are in the game.
That's cool.
So it'll be different every single time, which is a cool thing.
That's cool.
And I'm guessing it'll have that transition a bit like God of War does, where it just starts straight into the game.
Can I ask you a question about that? Do you remember when the PS5 was coming out and they said there'll be no more themes? And I remember people got really heated that I love themes and blah, blah, blah for my PS5. Where's your position on this? Because that popped into my head the other day because I was scrolling through some of my games and obviously it changes the whole thing. And I was like, I don't need themes.
I don't need them either. I've always liked the whole thing, like the whole screen changing based on the game. I think it's quite cool, especially when you have really good art. Some people really like them. I don't know, man. You guys just need to grow up. But I will tell you what is really bad.
Yeah.
Some game makers put some really obnoxious music.
Yeah, they do.
And it's so stupid. For example, Cyberpunk.
I was about to say.
It's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And I like turn the volume down every single time. I'm like, stop that nonsense.
Cyberpunk was exactly what popped into my head when you said that.
That's annoying. But I'm not I don't really care too much on themes.
Because when themes were a thing, I did have a bunch and I would switch them out here and there. I had like a God of War one and a Last of Us one and not Cyberpunk, Witcher one and stuff.
Yeah, Witcher was nice.
The Witcher was nice. And also it had the ching, ching, ching every time you would change menus. But I don't care that they've gone.
Do you know where I thought you was going with it?
Yeah.
I thought you was going with it. Do you think that Insomniac could do a thing where like it changes the home screen every time, like based on where you are in the game, and then when you press it just goes straight into the game from there, like no loading screen or whatever? And I was like, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Insomniac, because they seem to be on the bleeding edge of technology.
That's an interesting idea.
Whenever it comes to PS5.
You're much smarter than I am, it seems.
Even in my plagued state.
Yeah.
So,
hey guys, if you've been enjoying the Plaguecast, hit like.
I have to say, I feel really bad. I don't know how this podcast has been going. I'm sorry if it's bad. If it's not been bad and it's been good, then you're welcome.
Because of my cold and my blocked nose, like, I can't quite hear my own voice. Like, I can hear me. I know I'm speaking, but I can more feel how my throat feels than hear my voice. I don't know how I sound.
We're such old men.
So my entire dialogue could... Obviously, it's me speaking, so it's immediately trash. Yeah. But, like, it could sound way worse than normal. I have no idea. I don't know what I sound like.
Spider-Man 2 review codes are going out. I did tweet out my usual thing where I'm like, I can confirm I did not get a review code for a thing. Thank you very much, Insomniac. And they gave me a pity like. They were like, here you go.
Did they like it? Yeah. Cheers.
I felt like that was funnier than not liking it at all. I was like, oh.
That is funnier, and at least you got recognition, because you remember when I was abusing the Ghost of Tsushima dev team? Oh, wait, when's Ghost of Tsushima 2 coming out?
Mate, no one's even talking about that.
I'm going to start abusing the dev team now for my 1v1 duels.
I think you should.
I think it will. And what's his Hiroshima's name? I'll start abusing the CEO of Sony for it as well.
Todoroki...
Hiroshima, yeah. Nagasaki-san, yeah.
Oh,
is that the second bomb? Nagasaki?
Bad. This is bad.
Is that it? I think it's that.
This is bad.
Yeah. Should have given me the jewels.
Apparently, this is totally unverified at the moment.
Cool.
But apparently Sony's been hacked again.
Oh, for God's sake.
Now, the last time we remember Sony being hacked, PlayStation was taken offline for 6 weeks. That was... right in the times where we were like COD guys back in the day, so it was devastating for us.
Yeah,
we just couldn't play online with our friends. Every night we'd come home from school, check to see if PlayStation's up. PlayStation's offline. Shit, go back home. It was quite a moment in history. However, like I said, no evidence of it. This one hacker group said they've hacked in and they've stolen 6,000 documents, and I was like, I think Sony have a few more than 6,000.
6,000 is not a lot. I've got 6,000 documents.
Exactly. I was like, so tell us a bit more. But also, it's been like 5 days since they said that, and nothing has happened.
Yeah.
They said that they're not looking for anything. They apparently asked Sony for money, and they didn't give them any money, so they're just going to release it. And I was like, cool.
And the other thing is, so like,
any data.
If it's 6,000 emails, let's say it's internal emails, leaks. If it comes out, I'm gonna preface this. If it comes out and it's like the internal emails from Xbox, and it's all like negative, oh, how do we beat Xbox? I'm not gonna care, because they haven't been positioning themselves as the pro-consumer, for people, we love you, we care about you company. So
it's going to be profits and losses. We make profits on this. We serve our customers, but also make profit. That's what
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking about. profit, and also let's make a console and some games. Let's go.
Yeah, that's
How
what
should we make a TV show out of this thing?
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Also, there was two sides to that, because I feel like from the hackers' perspective, they're like, we hacked Sony, and that's like their call to like, look how famous we should be. But because they didn't do anything with it, that's died off. But from Sony's perspective, depending on what they got, if they actually got anything, that could be damaging even if they don't release it. Because now, if it's like personal records or people's banking information or whatever it is that Sony actually has of that, then they have to come up and be like, guys, we've had a breach, and like that can cost them a lot of money and a lot of consumer confidence. But by the sounds of things, it's nothing. It's like,
who knows? Yeah. Who knows? I guess we'll find out soon. As I say, it could just be someone just claiming and just.
Should we just say we've hacked Sony?
We at Conbrosations have hacked Sony. Sony, give us all your money. Give us Spider-Man 2 early.
We have hacked Insomniac. We have many documents. If they don't give us 2 early access codes and 1 to give away to an audience member, we're going to release the documents.
The next thing is that Sony apparently deleted all mentions of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake, and have removed the teaser trailer that they released back when the PlayStation 5 event happened and whatnot. They have.
I was really looking forward to that.
I was too, and it was really annoying. And Sony have come out and said that apparently it's a licensing issue, that they've removed the trailer for a licensing issue. So maybe there's still hope there, but there was also some words that the group the developer group that they got to make the remake was also having problems, and they were looking for someone else. So that was the last we heard of them, and then we got this, and it doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel like there's something good going on over there. And then the final thing is that there's been a bunch of layoffs in the industry, a little bit shitty, but it happens from time to time. It kind of sucks. The biggest ones coming from Epic Games and EA, both losing 800 plus employees. I'll tell you what the worst one is, though. Apparently, the entire studio that made Fall Guys has been completely laid to waste, which is really annoying because Epic recently bought them, and now they've just fired them all.
Fired them, or like pulled them out of the company and put them somewhere else?
Well, the studio art director of Fall Guys, of Mediatonic, posted a kind of funny but not so funny picture of saying eliminated in the Fall Guys text.
That is funny. That is pretty funny.
Yes. Shit. But yeah, it seems like they've all just been closed down. That's kind of annoying. Like, why buy them just to shut them down, you know? Anyway, it's pretty sad to see that happen in the industry. I hope they all land on their feet. But this is unfortunately how it goes. Oh, sorry, there is one thing that I wanted to mention. This is back from the Xbox leaks that came out and whatnot. There was a profits margin bar chart that came out that was being passed around by the community. And I think it's good to mention here because a lot of people were using it as like, you see? Yeah. Xbox are the most profitable company in the world.
Ever.
It showed operating costs, and it showed profit margins and stuff like that. It shows
Xbox or Microsoft?
Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. Okay. It shows their revenue, and it shows Nintendo brings in the least amount of revenue overall, but their profits are way higher.
Yeah, I was going to say. They just re-release the same games over and over.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it shows PlayStation's revenue at 18 billion, but their operating profit at 1.4 billion, and this is like for a quarter, right?
Yeah.
And then it shows Xbox with a much lower revenue but a slightly higher profit, and people are like, see, Xbox is profitable and actually more profitable than PlayStation, and people are like, hold on,
that doesn't pass the smell test.
That doesn't add up in any sense because they haven't released any games. How are they making profit?
They haven't released any games. They've sold 1/10 of the consoles, and Xbox and Game Pass isn't profitable. It's very much not profitable.
And Game Pass is costing lots of money on this side. How is that working? And PlayStation have been selling consoles, have
selling services,
selling video games. How does that make sense? And then it came out afterwards that what's included in this, in the PlayStation one, is the Bungie acquisition was been taken out of that profit number as well. So
right,
3.6 billion has been taken off of that
cool.
profit.
Well, let's drop already. 70 billion off. Like,
and none of those acquisitions have been added to Xbox's one. Right. It's just literally been a full overall over the top. Services,
so it's a lie.
It's a lie. False representation. It's a lie.
That's a lie. Because if you were saying, right, well, we won't include acquisitions, but what they've done is they've said, this is what Nintendo did, this is what Xbox did, and we're gonna take off some extra stuff for PlayStation. Yeah, that's a lie. That is a lie. That's not misrepresentation. They're lying.
It's so funny right there. Anyway, that was interesting, bro.
That's so dumb.
And that's everything, bro. There might be a state of play coming soon. Hideo Kojima posted a picture of him editing something, and people squinted in. They did zoom and enhance on the title of the project.
Is it him working on something with Hassan Kunamal?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. You saw his face back there, and his...
it's in the reflection of his glasses that you can only see reflected off of the black of the screen. Yeah.
And it said something that genuinely did look like state of play, so there might be a state of play coming.
Okay, cool.
That'd be pretty cool. But, bro... that is everything from the podcast.
No comments or...
no, actually, because I was so sick, I did it so late, and no one had enough time
that's
to
cool.
write
That's cool.
I'm very sorry about that, guys.
That's cool.
All right, man. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for the True Gamer podcast. Sorry that it's been late, and sorry that I've been so sick, coughing and everything like that. I'm sorry if my energy hasn't been the same. Normal service will resume again for the next episode. And thank you so much for putting up with me, bro. That's scissor.
Scissor meets paper.
No. I want to.
You want a scissor?
Yeah, I want to actually.
Oh, cool.
So you guys can't see it off camera.
Oh, wait! You're telling me even not only the audio virgins they missed it, but the video virgins, the video connoisseurs. That's much better. Yeah.
They couldn't even see us scissoring.
Jesus Christ! What has my life become? I'm sitting here dying from bubonic plague, scissoring with my mate.
With your best friend.
Not even on camera. Now we can't put that on our OnlyFans.
On the other tube.
Or tube. Yeah, there's a red tube, isn't it?
There?
I think this is going on your search history. So redtube.com.
Oh, God.
Might be like .xx or something. Oh, I'm 18 years or older. 100% that's porn. RedTube. I'm trying to keep it off that camera.
Click on it, though, because we don't know if it is porn or not. Turn the volume down. Yeah.
I'm turning it way up, hon.
Is that actually...
This is an hour-long video. It actually won't click. It won't click.
It won't? Oh.
Did I break something, hon? Oh, no, I have to accept cookies.
Of course.
There we go.
Make sure you can be tracked.
Attention. This is not a dating site. You will need to fuck ugly grannies anytime they ask you.
What an ad!
If you reject someone sexually, click here to view more photos of old grannies who live nearby.
Well, click, because we need to find out.
Well, what if they're an unknown proxy too?
They could be right next to us. Oh, grannies. Specifically...
You will have to fuck ugly old grannies anytime they want.
How is this an ad? This doesn't sound good.
Yeah, no, and it's still going. Grannies who like to fuck. Profiles of women, 50 plus verified profiles, free sign up, click here.
And they're women. Jesus. Ugh.
Yeah, disgusting.
What is that machine on the side?
I think that's for girls, but there's no way a girl is on this website.
Mate!
What?
That thing is insane.
It's like an internal windmill thing.
Yeah. It's like a blend. You know the food blender thing that you got that?
Yeah.
It's like that going in there. What the fuck?
But for the girls, the one girl, for you girl, for Sabine, it's plastic. It's not like...
and maybe Sophie if she listens to it.
And then...
Jesus.
So like that's like an internal, like, you do the finger thing. But then there's this other thing that's like showering the clit. This is the wrong podcast for this.
This is the wrong podcast for this, guys. We'll pick this up at another time. Keep that page open for 2 weeks' time.
For saves. Yeah. Mate, immediately add it to favourites.
We need to see that ad again. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.
Later, boys.